Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome to the Mobile Mayhem North America lolwr Tournament Season 1, the grand final day. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, the sexy and charming and attractive Tasty Bacon. How are you doing, Tasty?
Doing great. Cannot wait to get those finals underway. We saw yesterday Tribe and Goons just tear through their competition on their way to this head-to-head matchup. But before we get to those grand finals, we have a little issue of the third and fourth place game to take care of, Dave.
Yeah, in order to solve those issues, we're gonna go ahead and show you guys the third and fourth match right off the bat. Remember, it's still best out of 5 and it's an all-around band pick format. Before we get into the match, ladies and gentlemen, this tournament is made possible by Mobile Mayhem and Trovo.live. If you're watching the stream right now, make sure to head to Trovo.live with the link in the chat, because the grand finals will be streamed exclusively on Trovo. What are you waiting for? Head over there right now, get your popcorn, get your soda, because we shall head to the first game band pick between Mobile Mayhem and Team Yon right away.
Already, teams are raring to go. We've got the first draft underway. It is going to be Ziggs banned away by the side of Mayhem, whereas Yon, they're taking the Camille off the board, which is something that we haven't really seen any teams put a lot of a focus on the Camille ban. We've seen Camille picked every so often here and there, but to have it banned up this early is kind of surprising, because yesterday was this Olaf pick that was getting banned a whole lot, and, well, they immediately gets first picked as a result.
Well, time changed, you know, Tasty. Like, we live in a different era now. It's 2021. You know, everything is possible now in new ages. So, yeah, Camille is definitely a good ban, though, to be honest, because it's such a flexible choice. You can go Baron lane, you can go jungle, and then it doesn't matter which lane she goes to. It's always going to be a problem. You have to always worry about where she is all the time. So, I respect the ban. Now, obviously, when you have a special ban like this, even though it's a really good pick, again, when you have a ban like this, it has to be something related to maybe respect ban. You know, maybe they know that Mayhem didn't secretly practicing this strategy. And today, if you win the third place, you're gonna get $250. If you lose, you're gonna get $150. So, I mean, that's a nice $100 difference there. You know, they want to do whatever they can to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Only 3 games stand between you and an extra $100. I would take that any day of the week and, you know, try and get that little bit of extra cash in your pockets. But looking at the way this draft is shaping up, 2 very strong comps so far through the first 3 picks or so here, as having the Xayah backline. So I like the fact that they picked up the Ezreal after seeing the Olaf, because Ezreal is one of those champions that, even with Olaf barreling down at you, if you can blink over a wall, all of a sudden that Olaf can't get to you.
Yeah, exactly. And she has so much built-in mobility, right? Israel is one of the champions that, again, I've said it many times, and I'll say it again, really good at poking, but really good and really mobile at the same time, right? On top of flash, on top of your E. This guy is packed with a whole lot of stuff, right? Not only does he do damage, he's also really hard to catch. So you gotta have a lot of stuff ready when you're getting ready to dive in Israel. It does add a little bit of difficulty, many layers of difficulty for the jungler, the Kodo, on the Olaf to be able to get to this guy. On top of it, you gotta go through a Braum passive. It goes through a true damage from Garen's ultimate. Obviously, Lee Sin's not gonna do much besides providing a little bit of burst. So I like the Israel pick, and right away you see both teams are picking really aggressive draft in game 1. They really want to win, because in game 1, if you're able to have a lead on your opponent, that's a lot of pressure right off the bat. It's only best out of 3. If you win one more match, it's a match point right away. Best out of 5, excuse me. So yeah, I like the bends and picks from both teams so far. Definitely make a lot of sense. I think for Yon, they're looking for another Zig-like mage for their mid lane. Who do you think they will probably go with here?
I mean, really, the options that we see a lot of teams go with tend to lean towards like the Ahri or the Galio, but Corki is one that used to be very prevalent, but we haven't actually seen much of throughout Mobile Mayhem this month. So, you know, I'd be a little bit surprised if they lock this one in, but at the same time, it's kind of just that throwback, and there it is. This is going to get locked in. So a little bit of a throwback comp here with the Corki, Lee Sin, Ezreal, Braum, and then throwing in Garen there for good measure. You know, Garen has one that has been dominant recently, but really only came into his own recently. It is, you know, within the last month or so is when Garen has really rose to power in Wild Rift.
Yeah, and I think a good job for lolwr developers for coming out with the God Garen skin at the same time. Really a successful event, I would say. Saw a lot of Garen skin. When you go to the ranked game, you see everybody has it. Doesn't matter which tier you're in, people buy Garen skin. As one of the most popular champions throughout time, throughout history. So yeah, definitely coming to the power, to the throne, to the king position of the Baron lane. It makes sense. You know, I like when OG champions are actually meta instead of just some dead weight champions you can only pick in lower tier. So this is great.
Yeah.
You know what surprised me the most though is how Garen is actually a pick that a lot of pro players use to go against Darius, which I always thought Darius counter Garen in a lot of ways, but then somehow it's like a reverse power dynamic in actual practice. You know, I never figured out how that is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just being able to, Garen can go kind of be that quick hitter in a sense where he can go in, get those, especially with the procs of Grasp of the Undying. That is really what has set Garen into that upper echelon of being extremely strong. So, you know, use that Grasp of the Undying proc, you combine that with his first ability, and it's just a huge chunk of damage. He gets a little bit of health back, and then just backs off, waits for the next Grasp of the Undying proc, and then goes back in. Whereas Darius, he wants to be doing that continuous damage. He wants to be fighting someone, and Garen can just prevent that from happening.
Yeah, true. Also, Garen's a really tanky target. I think in lane, you probably have a little bit of advantage for Darius because Darius does provide, you know, the early stacks. Oh, speaking of early...
Right off the bat, going to be a little bit of a trade there. No one really taken too low. Everyone did kind of just, you know, throw out an ability and then back off. So everyone's going to be relatively safe, but it does stop any early invade potential. But a lot of my attention is going to be on this early game here in the Baron lane of the Garius. That's the name for this matchup. I'm calling it now. But Garen versus Darius. Again, want to see who gets the upper hand early in this one.
Yeah. I mean, you can see like MTS doing not bad at all. Just, you know, throwing those skill ones onto Darius every time you get a chance to. And right now, from what I see, he's out trading. Ooh, a little bit more. Okay.
Yeah, nice trade answer there by Sirento. But that's right there is the key interaction that we just saw of having to, you know, when Darius throws out his first ability, the spin, you want to avoid that outer ring, and Garen can do that. He can go in and hit his first ability to get the silence, but also avoid that early damage and heal. But now Darius, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Will be able to survive and eat that honey fruit to stay healthy, but Garen absolutely winning these early trades.
Yeah, and also just right now, I don't know why we see this many of mid lane like stare down. I would say like because this trade off skills. If you look at like many games we've seen so far, it doesn't matter if it's a GOONS game, Tribes game, Mayhem's game. Everyone seems to have like a jungle and a mid, just stay in mid lane, like 2-on-2 situation, right? Like this has been happening for many games in a row. Which is kind of odd because usually you don't expect jungle to stay mid. Maybe they will camp on the side bush and just come out for a surprise burst and probably leave and go to the jungle or go to the bush again. But so far we're seeing quite a bit of stare down from both sides. Quite interesting. And another thing that I noticed, I think a lot of players watching. Ooh, before that, bottom side.
Nice jump on the Braum, but he's going to be able to dash out to the safety of his carry. But that is going to be a blue buff stolen away by the side of Mayhem. Ooh. And so currently sitting on the 2 buffs for Mayhem to only the 1 that has been picked up by the side of Yawn. And I find it very interesting that Zenith rank 1 decided to go back into this side of the jungle after they just knew that blue buff had been stolen away. Typically when that blue buff steal happens, if you know it, you immediately go to the enemy's blue buff to try and make sure that you don't get triple buffed.
You see, what I do think is kind of interesting is how they would give up that blue buff to begin with. They do have Braum, they do have Lee Sin, they do have Israel and Corki. If you're talking about early game damage, early game stun, when before Olaf really have the ultimate, the invincibility, I mean, that's the time you want to fight them. You know, if they want, especially when they're in your territory. Like, instead of trading, we have a team comp that focus on early game. You want to be trading, you want to be fighting them instead. So, ooh. Top lane spotted.
Oh, ultimate, but is the ignite going to be enough? It's taking down this barrier, has to come through.
Oh, Lee Sin!
Live, but Lee Sin dashing under the turret, throwing the energy ball and getting the kill. Great job there by this duo of MTS Amazing and Zenith rank 1 to secure themselves that first blood.
Yeah. Again, like I really think the maybe the Camille ban was a respect ban for Sorrento, because we've seen Sorrento play Camille before. Didn't leave too much of an impression, but maybe today, secret practice, or maybe even just for Kodo. But we know Kodo for Fizz jungle, right? So, bottom side.
Bottom side, a little bit of a skirmish there, but not really ain't going to be anything coming from that. Both AD carries dropping to about half health, and they go back to their separate ways.
Just trading some skills, and so far been pretty peaceful, except for the first blood. Definitely come off on top for MTS. If once you give Garen that advantage and allows him to rotate or building that Sunfire Aegis really early on, Garen just become a monster. Like his wave clear, his lane presence, it's gonna be insane. But it's gonna be Darius who make to the dragon first, though. Are they gonna start it? Let's find out.
Yeah, Dragon is getting started here, and no one is really starting to answer just yet. Looks like they're trying to get themselves into a better position before they try and contest the Dragon, but they're gonna have to go quick because this Dragon's going down very low, under 1,000 health. Dragon is secured, and now the team fight's happening in package, getting right through the Dragon hit, and that's a lot of damage as Perry is just stuck on it. He's gonna be ending up dropping, and Garen finding himself a double kill, taking down 2. When all is said and done, it's 4 kills to the side of Yawn.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I mean, am I seeing that right? Because that was, if you go back to take a look at a replay, that was a 3 versus 5 to begin with. So it was just a Braum in the front and Elysian going to steal. It wasn't a 4-on-5-on-5 until much later, but before that, a little bit more action in the lane.
Yeah, a little bit of a skirmish here in the mid lane. Knockup only connects onto the Garen, and he's going to be way too tanky for them to get anything off of that. So Mayhem, do end up saving this turret. They are able to defend that objective, and they did get the Dragon for themselves. So yes, they lost 4 kills, and they are now starting to slip behind in gold as well, but they prevented themselves from falling even further behind with that play.
Yeah. I mean, but from the early skirmishes, we already kind of see a power dynamic between the two teams. You see a dominant, like, pressuring performance coming out from Team Young right off the bat. In fact, Garen's 1 versus 2 right now. He knows he's unkillable. Yep.
Just eating all the damage. And that's one of the most frustrating things, to just be sitting there knowing in a 2v1, getting your combos off, getting your damage out, and just being like, well, we just don't have a chance at killing him.
Yeah, and on top of it, Garen is willingly going to take the trade. I think it's just trying to buy some time. He knows they cannot burst him down. Because you look at his HP right now, he's back to full HP. In fact, most likely he will get a bottom tier 1 tower as a first tower, as Darius is not interested in defending this at all. They really want to get this Rift Herald, which in no way, in my opinion, is as important as the first tower. So I think this is definitely not a good trade. In fact, look at the mid lane's being pressured in also. It's 1 bar HP left, and then they're going to try to get it.
Yeah, it's going to be Shockwave used by Tsuki just onto the Corki, who's just going to Valkyrie over the wall and get out to safety. So that's another big ultimate used to no effect. And like you said, the Rift Herald is generally used to get yourself the first turret.
Exactly.
If you are trading 2 towers for a Rift Herald, that is not a worthwhile trade to be taking.
Yeah, that's definitely not a worse trade. And on top of it, look, Garen just got to finish the second item. He's rich now, 7,000 gold compared to a Darius who's sitting at 4K, not even 4K yet, right? This guy is 3,000 gold ahead, 1 full item ahead, and Darius is still struggling to finish 1 simple item. I think he's going for Trinity Force, his first item. Like right now, if he get dunked by this Garen, it's gonna be game over, right? Because Garen's almost 2 levels ahead. It's at this point, this Darius, the only option for him to join team fights, he can't even stay in lane. He can't even stay outside the tower. He's just gonna get one-shotted by Garen, to be honest.
Yeah, the only way back into this game for this Darius is to, happen to be in a fight where he's able to get a reset on the ultimate and just pick up a couple of kills in rapid succession. Otherwise, he's just going to continue to fall further and further behind, especially Garen. Now that he has both the Sunfire and the Thornmail, I mean, who's going to be the one to deal damage to him? Olaf can't attack him because he's going to get that grievous wounds, and that's 90% of Olaf's survivability in a fight has the lifesteal. Darius can't lifesteal as effectively with his first ability. You really are only looking at the Orianna, who can do any sort of decent damage, and if Orianna's trying to focus a Garen, you've pretty much already lost the game.
Yeah, and Orianna has no item right now. Even if we talk about Orianna doing poke to Garen, like, she's not gonna outpoke the regeneration, the sustain from a Garen at this point of the game. So you're really looking at a dilemma for the entire Mayhem right here. Dragon's coming up.
That's a lot of damage onto Parry right as the dragon is spawning. Immediately, Yawn is going to go ahead and start this up. The Rift Herald is dropped by Mayhem. Corki drops the package just as a line to keep everyone at bay. The Blast Cone is up, so they do have a way into the pit if they want it. But do they want to actually get in there? It's a nice ultimate. That's a lot of knockups, but it's not going to be enough as already Corki finds himself a kill. The Ezreal ult goes across the entire team, and Garen is just on the back line, spinning and winning. A triple kill for the Garen, and when all is said and done, this should be an ace for the side of Mayhem or of Yawn as they try and chase down this one final kill. Soju Rain dodging everything. They don't quite get the ace, but they get 4 kills and now can return their attention back to this dragon.
Oh my goodness. Like, again, I gotta return to the power mechanic, the power dynamic between the two teams. Like, right off the bat, you can see the entire team, Yawn, is feeling a lot more aggressive, a lot more confident. You know, when you play a game, you really want to come in with a lot of confidence, right? You can see that from Team Yawn going against their opponent today, right? I mean, the way how they play, it just feel like they have nothing holding them back. When they want to go in, it's a clear engage, it's a clear, especially from MTS. Right, MTS is literally 1 versus 4. Like he dove in, he knows how much gold he has, he knows how far ahead he is. So if you look at Garen's gold, 9,600 gold, compared to the richest person from the entire side of Team Mayhem, who's only sitting at merely 6,000. So you can kill this Garen right now. I mean, I really don't see a way unless they 4 people catch Garen off guard. It's really MTS. Is MTS willing to give Team Mayhem the win this game? But I don't think he is, because he's a really careful player. And then we're talking about like professional experience. I've mentioned this over and over again. I don't think anyone has more experience than MTS in this matchup, in this lineup specifically.
Yeah, I mean, and this Garen is just so far ahead. I mean, who's going to deal with him? If he wants to split push, nobody can stop him. If he wants to go aggressive, nobody can stop him. And right now, he puts a little bit of pressure on the bottom lane, and the rest of the team is starting up the Baron. 11 minutes in, this Baron is about to drop, and Kodo is just now finding out that this is even happening. It's way too late. The Baron is taken, and now the fight is on. The Shockwave hits multiple people, but only does about a quarter of their health. That's not going to be enough damage, and they get the Baron. Nobody goes down, and now everyone on the side of Yawn can just recall, purchase some extra items, pick up the package for Corki, and then look for a push with these Baron-empowered minions.
Yeah, and again, Garen just finished a Demon play, the 3rd item he has now. Look at everybody else, right? I mean, this guy's decked out, but entire Team Mayhem right here, we're looking at a 2-item finish at max on Orianna, right? So it's not looking good. If they want to have a chance to win this game, they really gotta wait this out for like I think 20 minutes when Orianna have a chance to farm up. At this point, it's not likely, and then they are lacking the damage to even clear this Baron minion wave, because how strong it is for Baron buff on this minion wave. Like you can see they're struggling. They're taking so much poke just to clear a minion wave right now. Outside.
Yep. And that's going to be Darius taken down once more. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Ezreal and Braum are almost taking out Parry, but they're going to get a turret for their troubles as well. 3-0-2 is the push right now, and they are just taking everything off this map. They're clearing out the jungle on their way as well, and there's just nothing there for the side of Mayhem to farm. It is just all Yawn right now, with the Baron buff minions still making their way in towards these final couple of turrets. The inner turret in mid is down, and now it is only base turrets left standing.
Yeah, and that's what I say about like the teams ignoring standing gold. You cannot give up a tower to go for a dragon right now in the game. Like, especially with how much nerf they did to dragons and all that. Doesn't matter what dragon it is. You have to understand, early dragon is all about like, do you have the lane prior? Do you have the rotation priority? If you don't have it, you don't have to force it, because giving standing gold is a lot more scary. But before that, bottom side.
Rakan trying to make a play happen. They do get a lot of damage onto the Garen, but he's a Garen. He's not going to go down. Instead, turns and gets a dunk. And that's going to be yet another kill racked up for the side of Yawn. 11-0 now. The gold lead is 16,000 in their favor. Another dragon is about to spawn. Their health is low. I don't think they're even going to care about that, though. They're just going to go right for this dragon.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, it looks like some of them are recalling. So they are going to play it a little bit safer. But, I mean, they only need 2 to go after this dragon. That's all they're going to be bothering with. No one from the side of Mayhem can even risk trying to contest this.
To be honest, I think just need 1. They just need MTS, right? As long as you have Garen in the front line, I mean, they can't go through this line. Look how many people Garen is scaring off single-handedly, right? He just stays at front, and all 3 people are like, oh my god, a Garen! And they start running away. Like, that's exactly what's happening. They're yelling, I mean, they're running. Just scaring bunch of cats is literally how it is. And now topside, Darius might not be able to escape this one.
No, not at all. He gets stopped. The recall gets stopped by the Ezreal ult, and then Garen is just on the chase. He flashed out, does get out for now. Maybe even able to escape. Shockwave only hits 2. But Garen is now godlike. That's another kill picked up. A double kill for Garen. Gets the triple kill. Can he find more? Looking for the quadra. Did that one go to him? I don't know. No, it went to the Ezreal. So no penta going to be possible. Oh, Ezreal actually got 2 of those. So that was a misread on my part. But it doesn't matter who gets the kill. All that matters in the end is that the kills came through, the turrets are falling, and the game is over.
Yeah, just like that. It seemed like a bait from Darius' side. It seemed like Mayhem had a plan, right? But then they're kind of baiting their opponent, baiting that Garen deeper. But then the standing goal difference, just a sheer difference on farm is too much right now to overpower. Like, look at, it's a 0-16 perfect game. I don't think that Team Yon didn't lose a single tower. You know, if you look at the tower damage and look at total hero damage, champion damage that each side did, it's just not on the same level, except for maybe Suki, who did a little bit more damage as a mid laner. But again, that's not enough on a Garen who finished like 4 or 5 items going to the late game. It's 8-0-5, well-deserved MVP for MTS.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that Mayhem was able to get that game was the Rift Herald. Other than that, yeah,
and the dragon.
Completely.
Wait, did they get a dragon?
They got a dragon? Yeah, they did get 1 dragon. They got one dragon in the game. But yeah, absolute dominance from the side of Yon pretty much throughout. I mean, you look at that gold graph, it's, you know, the old adage, it's a gold ocean, and it absolutely is. You can see the little sandy beach there at the first 3 minutes, and then it just becomes the Marianas Trench by the time you end up down there at the 12 to 13 minute mark. Absolutely one-sided game. Hopefully it won't be a one-sided series, but that game was not close.
Yeah. And then just quickly come back to the analyst desk. I think for the play for the teams, for Team Mayhem especially, I think they really gotta play more confidently. Right? When you have, doesn't matter who your opponents are, doesn't matter who it is. Like, you execute on your game plan, play towards your game, right? Doesn't matter how the enemy play their games. You don't want to play reactively. That's the last thing you want to do in a competitive environment. And then that's what we saw last game. Hopefully Mayham can quickly readjust himself and really give us a series here. But do not go anywhere, guys. If you're watching the stream, drop the like, subscribe, and turn the bell on, and share the stream with your friends. Today is the grand finals for the first league format tournaments in North America. Once again, powered by Mobile Mayhem and Trovo.live. If you're watching the stream right here, make sure to use the link in the chat right now to go to Trovo, because the grand finals will be streamed exclusively on Trovo. And make sure to follow our sexy tasty bacon on Twitter so you can follow all the future events he will get himself involved in. With that, we're gonna go ahead and take a short break. We'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back to the Mobile Mayhem North America Wild Rift Tournament Season 1 Playoff and Grand Final. This is the last day of the tournament. Yes, you are right, you are in here. You are right place at the right time. Make sure to hit a like, hit a subscribe, get your stuff ready, make yourself comfortable, because we're just getting started. The second game between Team Mayhem and Team Young, fighting for the third place, is coming up. What you waiting for? Pacey, let's get into the band pick right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Already teams underway, ready to go. The Camille not banned this time and does get picked up by Mayhem. Olaf and Fiora are the two bans for this game, which leaves the Ziggs open. So we do see the side of Yawn, of course, grabbing that power pick for themselves. Galio is the answer for the Ziggs. But there's the Varus and the Janna. This is a combo that we're starting to see a lot more frequently, Dave.
Yeah, Varus, Janna, again, free poke, protective poke. I have always loved protection, right? If I've ever become a dad, I would tell my kids to always use protection. It's the most important thing. And then when you come to the game like this, it's just so crucial, you know, especially in competitive games. It's all about a room of error. How much do you allow yourself to be safe, to stay happy, you know, to stay prosper, and it's all provided by Janna. So one of my favorite pick right here. I'm glad to see it getting picked up one more time. Just amazing pick by Team Young.
Yep, Kaisa and the Braum going to be the answer for the bottom lane of Mayhem. So again, power picks across the board thus far. You know, the first couple of games, always going to be having a lot of these extremely strong champions. It isn't until we get to, you know, game 3, game 4, and, you know, if we're lucky, game 5, where we'll start to see these compositions really get tested, and we'll start to see some, you know, more off the wall, off meta picks coming through. But for now, it's just going to be a lot of, you know, kind of what we're familiar with. You know, there is definitely a little bit of variety, because I will give shout out to the Wild Rift balancing team. There are numerous champions in each role that are viable, which you can't always say about MOBA. So a lot of times you get into MOBA and there's like, if you don't pick these 1 or 2 champions, you're just throwing the game. But my goodness, is that an Amy?
I gotta confirm. Is that a real pick? You know, that just seems like an impulse pick, right? Because the timer runs out and we see a freaking Annie being picked up. I mean that. Yeah,
I mean you already have Ziggs, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Unless you're deciding to try and run Annie as a support.
Oh, it's Vi. It's Vi.
It is Vi. Okay. Yeah, there are some bugs still to work out on the draft client that we are using. There is no in-game draft that has bans available, and especially no all-round draft clients, you know, in-game. So we are using an external draft client. So it is even still a Vi pickup is still something that we don't see very often in competitive.
Yeah, I mean, Vi is really strong, right? Especially Vi offers a lot of early game protection. And then I mentioned in my games that the Vi, a lot of people think it's a pure engage champion, but to my personal belief is Vi is one of the best protecting champion in the game. Protecting jungle in the game, on the support jungle in the game. Early game, if you're able to snowball with Vi, incredible. But when it gets to mid to late game, we need the extra hand, the extra protection. Where's it gonna come from? I think Vi definitely can do that. Because Vi late game, if you engages, we know how much damage ADC can do. We know how much damage Mage can do. And if you use Vi as if you use your Vi to use your ultimate to engage, you might get dragged way too far into their side of the territory and it just die instantly. So when you have a Vi, you can really use that onto champions who dive onto your team. Let's say Camille, right, is decided to jump in, use the ultimate, and that's when you can use Vi's ultimate to stop, to intercept the Camille. Or you can intercept a Kaisa who jumps in with the ultimate, right? So basically, you prevent Kaisa from ever using the ult. If Kaisa uses the ult aggressively, you know what to do, same as Galio. So I always like that pick, and this is the composition they wanted to play backwards. They want to make sure Ziggs stay alive. They want to make sure that the Varus stays alive. And that's why you have Janna. So overall, the composition have a lot of synergy, and I always like a composition with synergy. I don't really care about the champion being the tier S OP pick. Sometimes you draft yourself into a corner by drafting pure meta champions. So I like the Vi a lot. Meanwhile, if you look at the Mayhem's pick, their pick make a lot of sense also. Now, again, we see that very signature characteristic Fizz jungle by Kodo. What do you think about that, by the way?
I mean, we've seen it do okay. I'm not going to say it's done great for him but again, a lot of the matches he's been up against the likes of Goons, and it doesn't really seem to matter what you pick, it's not going to look good against Goons. So it's a little tough to say, just from what we've seen of it. But I mean, it definitely it's getting play in the solo queue, it's getting play in the ranked ladder. So there is definitely something there to it. It has a decent clear speed. It has decent gank potential especially once you hit 6. If you can engage with that Shark ultimate. But it's one of those picks that's just I feel like there's just better options in the jungle than Fizz, even though I don't think it's necessarily a bad pick.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's all about like your trade-offs, right? What are you wasting? It's not about Fizz being a bad pick. It's like if you take this champion, like what other champion are you not picking? I think that's a much better argument to put forward, and you're absolutely right on that. So now we're looking at the current score for Team Young. Team Mayham was Young 1-2-0 ahead in Game 2. Can Young pull off a victory for themselves? Sorry, for Mayhem. Can they pull off victory for themselves and even up the scoreboard? We shall find out. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, the one and only sexy, tasty bacon.
Looks like it is going to be a fairly standard start to this game. No one's trying to invade. No one's skirmishing at level 1. Just pretty much both junglers starting off on their blue side. The only difference is that there is a leash of a little bit of assistance for Kodo on the Fizz, whereas down here, Zenith rank 1 with the Vi is going it alone, which, I mean, perfectly fine. Vi is absolutely capable of clearing by herself without assistance. I've played a whole lot of Vi in the jungle. She has a very, very fast clear speed, very safe clear as well because of the shield.
Yeah, and on top of it, Vi's E just allows her to clear waves so fast. I mean, clear jungle so fast, especially those grouped up minion cans, like the wolf, like the chickens. I mean, raptor camp, whatever I call them. Top side though.
Kodo trying to take advantage of the fact that he is going to have a little bit of a quicker initial clear, I should say, because he did get that help from Camille as they use it to burn the flash of Gragas here on the top side. Now looking for an invade, but not going to be able to find anything as that's already going to be in mid is Zenith. Now we could be getting this 2v2 skirmish that we keep seeing so frequently. The taunt is going to connect, and over the wall goes Kodo to find himself first blood.
Oh my god, even Flash come out from Kodo right there, because Sally was in bodily harm. This might be interesting.
Nine still in trouble. Over under the turret. Ooh, Syrento almost goes down, but now here comes the rotation from Gragas as well. Is not going to get a kill. Doesn't get the Scuttle Crab either. This is a little bit of a hectic first couple minutes here.
Yeah, but I guess this is one of the good early games that Kodo has pulled on the Fizz. We rarely see a Kodo. I mean, I think there's one game in the first week when Kodo really had a good game on the Fizz jungle. But, I mean, after that, like you said, they've been going against really tough enemies. So, we haven't seen Kodo been pulling off, like, some good Fizz games, or at least comfortable Fizz games. But this is probably one of the most, I think the best early game he probably had in a while, in many, many weeks. So, I'm looking forward to see a great Fizz performance. I personally love, like, unorthodox picks. It does add, a stream of fresh air into the competitive scene. And then it's just really fun to watch, because if you combo that correctly, you cannot sleep on the Fizz late game. If Fizz is able to skill and have early game, it's going to be similar to Rangars and similar to Kha'Zix. It doesn't matter what champion you pick. As long as you have those assassins that is skilling, it's going to be really scary for the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Ziggs, Varus, both going to have to be very wary of the Fizz jumping in the late game, as the possibility of just basically getting one shot is very much real if Fizz gets too far ahead. So they're going to be having to make sure they really focus on vision this game, keeping track of where that Fizz is at all times so that they know where he's going to be looking to gank, where he's going to be trying to make plays happen, and can counteract that.
Yeah. And I want to point out, if you look at all the wording, this is another very exciting thing for all of us to watch and learn all the time. Like, when you have a vision control, because it's kind of like a legal hacking in a way, right? You know where enemies are in a legal manner, and that's how you play the game. That's how you make better decisions. A lot of times, it's not really just prediction. It's like knowing how to predict. Give yourself the advantage to predict, right? And then you look at a blue team, they have wards all over. They know exactly where marksmen are. They know exactly where Galio was. Now, over here, though, 9?
That's a very deep dive from the Fizz. He gets the kill. There's ultimate follow-up, but here comes Galio on top of it as well for another knockup. Gets the secondary knockup as well. Finally, the blast core, but is the ignite going to be enough? It is. Cannot quite get to the honey fruit in time, and 2 kills picked up there by Mayhem. A very strong start to this game.
Oh my god. I was saying that Mayhem need to play from a position of strength, and look, what is this, right? This is a position of domination right here. It's a little bit different than just strength. Ooh, speaking of strength, but if you look at MTS trying to do something crazy right here, it might be able to get him killed.
Yeah, very much. I mean, he started to back off because it looked like Fizz was just going to go over the wall and get out to safety, but he got greedy, tried to come back in so that he could get, you know, I don't know if they were hoping to be able to just double up on him with the Camille or if he was just trying to be able to steal away that Scuttle Crab. But either way, big mistake there from Kodo, as he definitely could have gotten out of there with his life if he had just hopped over the wall instead.
You know, I hate to say this again. I feel like I'm just repeating myself this past few weeks. But then, if you look at GOONS, right? That's a team that we try to use as a standard right now. But then if you look at GOONS, when they have the scenario in the last team fight where they got 2 early kills, 3 early kills, that much advantage, and the Dragons is up in the map, you never see a jungler try to force a River Scholar, right? This is not priority. Especially the thing is, the Scholar was not on the same side of the Dragon. Getting that Scholar is not gonna help you in any shape or form. Like if you get that, the Rift Herald is not gonna come out in a minute, and by that time the thing is gone anyways, you know. So I don't know, like that's kind of the mistake that Kodo was making, and this is why there's gonna be a team difference. Oh, here we come bottom side.
Yeah, speaking of teams, that's going to be a team fight here in the bottom lane, not even having to go underneath the turret. They're able to find that first kill on Divide. The Ziggs bomb comes through, but it gets dodged out nicely by Kodo. Just a clean kill pickup there, but what comes from it is going to be very important as well. They did kill the enemy jungler, so could very well look to try and put some attention on the top side where the Rift Herald has now spawned.
Yeah, I mean, as long as, to be honest, as long as Kodo reduce those tiny mistakes or greedy decision making, this is gonna be one of the best game Mayhem's gonna have, to be honest, especially with Fizz, because they got quite a bit. If you look at their composition, they got Galio, they got Fizz. Not traditional mid lane or jungle choices among many competitive teams, but it is Mayhem's best picks, right? Like this, their signature pick is the pick they're known for, and then that's the game this is the game they're most comfortable with, and they should be winning this match. So, and that's what they need to do. That's what they need to pull out. 5-man mid right now. They're looking to trade this mid tier 1 tower.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking to just brute force this one down. They got the Rift Herald. Not really the cleanest of rotations from Yawn in response to that. And now, just like that, that's going to be a very hard caught buy. And, I mean, Zenith rank 1, he is struggling this game. 0-4 as the fight continues. The Hextech Ultimatum locks in Gragas, but they do end up backing away instead of trying to overextend and overcommit to that fight. So, very good adjustment from Mayhem, recognizing, hey, we gave them one mistake kill. Let's not let that happen again.
Yeah, and I really like this decision, knowing that for entire team Yawn, they have 2 people bottom lane, and then they cannot defend mid in time. So getting that mid tower definitely make a lot of sense. And the mid tower is, I mean, I think it's personally speaking, it's the most important turret, tier 1 tower at least on the map. It does open up all the entire jungle invade, open up many entrances to the jungle. And then when I talked to a professional league coach many years ago when I first started playing professionally, he said one thing that's really smart. Like when we talk about map coverage, you just have to treat all the towers like dots, and if you connect all the dots together, that's gonna be where you have protection on the map, right? So taking away the mid tier 1 tower just disconnects the entire jungle. You make this 2 sides of jungle completely isolated. So that trade, even though they lost the first tower, but getting mid tier 1 tower is a big deal. So big shout out to Mayhem for pulling that off.
Yeah, and right now looking strong for them. That's going to be over the wall, but it doesn't matter. Once that Fizz fish connects, you're going to be getting ulted regardless of how far away you get. And another clean kill picked up for the side of Mayhem. They're just finding these picks one at a time and just making small advantages off of it. They get a pick there, they get bottom turret. Dragon's going to be up in 15 seconds. If they get another pick here soon, they get a free dragon. They are just playing it's a very slow pace, but it is a very effective pace.
Yeah, and the next dragon is coming up. This dragon might as well just give it to Mayhem at this point. I think it's a really good job, like the amount of advantage they had, and they did not make too many goofy plays. It's still a pretty dangerous pick though. Oh, it looks like Ziggs.
That's going to be a quick catch onto the Ziggs, and again, they get the one pick that they need and go for the objective. There is still a chance for a steal. You know, Vi can always get into the pit, but the Gragas ultimate with the big displacement is not going to do enough, and Dragon is secured by the side of Mayhem.
Yeah, and I gotta say, at the same time, it really look like Yon's giving him this game. Xanus is not getting any luck this game at all. Like, Xanus ranked 1 on the Vi, just being picked off left and right, getting himself in a bad positioning. And you look at just now, why is Ziggs ever going through that river? You know, why is he ever passing through that bush? That's, you know, that's a death bush. You know, like literally at that point, that is, I cannot find any better, you know, explanation than that's simply just a mistake.
Yeah, just a lapse of judgment, perhaps, but Baron is now spawning. Not sure if they're going to go for this right away. You know, they do have a sizable lead on the side of Mayhem, but it's not, you know, it's not a game-ending dominant lead just yet. If they can find a good team fight, then perhaps they can go for this Baron. But right now, their entire game plan has just been individual picks. They get one target and back away. They get one target and back away. They aren't really looking to commit to the all-in team fights just yet. I assume waiting for a little bit more scaling on someone like the Kaisa, but that single target assassination that plays right into the Ziggs and Camille playstyle. Both of them love to just go in, focus one target down, and get out.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at a farm right here. Vi knowingly that he doesn't have a lot of farm, he's going full tank right now. He's not even going for Black Cleaver. Not Trinity Force, definitely. If you look at her farm, she's 0-4, and it's just 7 for ages. He's going for the full tank route. Oh, before that Fizz.
Okay, he's going to be in some trouble perhaps, but now it's going to be the return from Suki and the rest of the squad. They take down Ziggs, they take down Vi, and it looks like they are ready for team fights now. They're all in on this. They get a 3rd kill, and now they're chasing down the Janna, and Janna will fall. That is 4 kills picked up for the side of Mayhem. And Dave, I think we're finally going to be having one of these best of 5s go to at least a 4th game.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving a game where finally we're going competitive, like it's just incredible. That now we have a Baron going towards Mayhem side. They're definitely pulling out their most comfortable picks. So this might be the turnaround because Baron, they're not ready for it. If you look at everybody's HP, I mean, it's a good decision to go back to reset. Sometimes getting the kills and rushing for objectives might not be the best decision. But I want to go back to my talk on items. If you look at the entire team of Yon right now, like everybody's building tank except for Ziggs and Varus, obviously. But they're severely lacking damage, severely lacking farm. 7,400 gold on Ziggs, only finishing 1 item. Right, there's not so much item at all. We're looking at Galio, we're sitting at 9,000 gold. Already have Leandre's, I have a Rod of Ages. He's doing a lot more items, gonna be a lot more impactful, especially comboing with Kodo Zora on the Fizz. So like we've seen them doing it over and over again, right? When Kodo jumps in and Galio on top of him. But right now we're seeing a little bit of disconnect from Team Mayhem, but they're still gonna start a Baron though.
And they actually decide to stop the Baron take instead of just committing to it. They, I guess decide they want to get a kill before they go for it. But I mean, no one was really making their way up there. They probably could have just committed to that Baron take and gotten it. Instead, now perhaps a team fight here in the mid lane, but not a whole lot of ultimates connecting. Chains of Corruption is going to do some work. The Ziggs Bomb not really going to do a whole lot here either. But the Varus arrows are, and there's going to be Vi going in. So you're going to get goes golden, but ends up dropping. That's going to be now suddenly a potential turnaround here for Yon off of a bit of, like you said, it seems like miscommunication from the side of Mayhem. Just like that, they lose 1 as the dragon spawns. Yon are able to gain some ground on the map and get themselves a 2nd dragon for the game.
And it's going to be a Cloud Dragon. It's probably the most crucial dragon scaling to the late game. The reason why for Cloud Dragon, I mean, ever since Cloud Dragon, all the 4 Dragon came out, the Inferno Dragon, Claw Dragon has always been the most important ones, and the reason for that is not because their stats were so good, it's because the characteristics, the nature of those stats. One's the pure damage, and Cloud Dragon is the movement speed. And when you talk about movement speed in this game, I don't think there's anything more important than just pure damage output and movement speed, because it does affect your rotation speed, which like affects how fast you can go from side to side, map like lane to lane, in order to pull off the strategies that you want. So overall, it's gonna speed up the team game for a really fast topside though.
And that's going to be a quick engage here with the Hextech Ultimatum. They're looking to find the kill onto Zenith. They do get him down, but they lose a lot of health in the process.
Nice
Perry
shot.
almost falling. Not quite going to be enough to answer. Janet gets some healing in there to stay alive, but does end up falling ultimately to the Galio. So 2 kills picked up by Gragas. He wants some blood, but he's not going to find it. As Mayhem, they're still putting up strong fights, but Yawn is slowly looking like they're trying to come back. Even though they did lose 2 members there and didn't get any kills from themselves, it was nowhere near as bad as the previous all-in team fight that we had.
Yeah, definitely we are seeing a lot more confident Mayhem, and they gotta do this. Right now they have tied up their communications, because like I said, we can see a miscommunication or disconnect from the way how they communicate, right? You see a few people are doing one thing, and then there are a few people doing another. It doesn't seem like they're diving in all together. For example, going on by, like you can see the chaotic juggling on the tower aggro. It wasn't organized. It didn't seem like it was planned. Somebody was tanking it and then have to jump out. It seems kind of chaotic, even though Braum was taking most of the damage here. And I do want to say, the later this game skills, it's going to be scarier, because MTS on the Grag is going to scale even further. And you already see how much damage he's doing to a freaking Fizz, right? As time goes, and the Grag start finishing those core items, if you finish Dash Cap, for example, if he chose to, instead of going full tank, it's going to be really, really scary how much damage output can do and how much impact he's going to put onto the entire team fight.
It's definitely scaling up later and later in this game. Both teams do have some strong scaling options. Obviously, the Varus and the Kaisa both get incredibly powerful as the late game rolls around. Ziggs gets incredibly strong the later the game goes on, as well as the Galio. So there is plenty of scaling from both sides, but it's still very much in favor of the side of Mayhem. But Yawn, they are fighting back. They are not going down quietly here in game number 2.
And this is the Pokemon power come online.
Oh my goodness, look at the top side of Braum. He's going to just get melted. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, it is Gragas and Camille skirmishing, but nothing really coming from that. Instead, it is the side of Yawn getting that kill and going after this Baron. If they pick up this Baron buff, I would say they're right back in this game.
Yeah. You cannot be wishy-washy against the comp. Oh, Galio!
Galio gets in, gets the taunt. Camille gets over, and Red Team gets the kill onto the Varus, but Mayhem does get Yawn gets the Baron. There's a lot of things popping up on the screen all at once. Got a little mixed up in my mind. But yes, the Baron goes to Yawn, but Mayhem gets the 2 kills off the back of it. So only 3 members have that Baron buff, but the Baron buff is present on the side of Yawn.
Yeah, and the outer Inferno, the outer Ocean Dragons coming up. This is only gonna add Soul to injury, because right now, if you have the Baron buff, it's not gonna help you that much in team fights. And if you look at Mobile Mayhem, their entire team is ready to fight, and they have 5 people ready here for this Elder Dragon. If they get this Elder Dragon, it's literally game over right here.
Elder Dragon extremely low, and no one from the side of Yawn is able to get into the pit, and Elder is secured. It's only a 2-Dragon Elder, but it is still an Elder buff for the side of Mayhem. And this game is just getting tenser and tenser as we continue on. I don't even know if tenser's a word, but it is definitely going to be an exciting finish to this one.
Yeah, if you look at the both side, I was just saying that when Mayhem need to play their comp decisively, they cannot be wishy-washy against entire team of Team Yawn, because Team Yawn have a lot of poke. If you were kind of like, deciding whether I should cross the street or not cross the street, that's where you're gonna get into a car accident. You just have to cross, you just have to decide, I gotta go in, I gotta do it now. And especially now they have Elder Ocean Dragons, gonna give themselves a lot of life steal in those team fights. It's not as much as as you correctly pointed out, is 4 dragons, but having 2 dragons still insane amount of life, still over 12%. And on top of it, you do a lot of true damage. They need to fight, and it's all come down to the next team fight. It's all come down who is going to have a better clear, better engaged, better, more crystal engaged, more tied up team fight. So if they would do that, I think they can win easily because Elder Dragon is such a game changer. And you can see, yes, Team Young got the Baron buff, but at what cost? And it doesn't really help them right now. The Baron buff is gone. You know, it's all come down to the Elder Dragon. Eventually, it'll come down to who has the better skilling. And Elder Dragon in Wall Rift is permanent. So you're gonna have so much lifesteal coming in from the entire team of Mayhem. And I think this game, they got it in the bag if they just tied up the communication for the next team fight.
Well, that next team fight might be happening sooner rather than later, Dave, as everyone is starting to posture up and try and push in. The Baron is going to be spawning in about 45 seconds. I wouldn't be too surprised if they just kind of, play this dance here in the jungle and mid lane until that Baron objective is alive. It's really, the onus is going to be on Yawn. They're the ones that have to try and find the engage, because otherwise, with the priority position that Mayhem have secured themselves, they can just fight back to the Baron pit and look for an engagement there. Whereas Yawn, they're the ones that have to go aggressive. They need to be able to get up, push the line of scrimmage forward until they can get some extra vision over in that portion of the map. Because right now, by the Baron buff, it is completely dark.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. For Yawn, they do have a path to victory though, because again, their competition is focused on poke, and if they're able to out-poke their enemy just like they did throughout his entire game, especially the last Baron fight, that's how Mayhem was able to lose the Baron. If they're able to out-poke their enemy again, and it's just staying a safe distance, keep on poking, get better vision control, know where enemies are, know what potential engages are, they're gonna be fine. Because even though the enemy have Outer Ocean Dragon, it really would only work if they're able to hit you, right? If they can't do damage, then the lifesteal doesn't really do anything. So they have a poke composition, and then they need to all poke them, try to prevent this Baron buff, and here it comes.
Oh, there goes Galio right on to his target on Zenith rank 1. He's getting taken down solo, but doesn't fall yet. Camille is going to be locking down Vicky, though. Varus went a little bit too far forward. Goes golden, tries to get out, but is not going to be able to survive forever, as that's going to be a couple of kills picked up there. Everyone on the side of is low, and Yawn is just falling. 4 members down, and it's only MDS Amazing. He's trying to chase down Perry just to get a consolation kill, but this is going to be game over as 4 members were taken out. Only Suki dropped on the side of Mayhem, and they finally finish off the ace. They can push in with this wave of minions in the bottom lane. They're pushing in the mid lane too, but they should just be rotating to the bottom side of the map and taking down this Nexus with Camille.
Yes, this is the Mayhem we would like to see. A team that play from a position of power, position of strength, play in a position of confidence. I mean, they should play every game like how they picked up I hate to say this, but how they pick up a jungler Fizz, how they pick up a Galio mid. I mean, they should play every game like this when they have the most comfortable champions they have, and then just play really confident. Play like they have a game plan. Play like knowing they're going they have a clear path to victory, knowing what to do next. That's the most important thing. And I think the biggest improvement that for Team Mayhem they need to do is just tighten up those communications. Now you gotta have a really, really big confidence boost from this victory, knowing that you can win, you can get a 3rd place in North America competitive scene. So they should just tighten up the communication, have a clear shot caller, and listen to the shot call altogether. I think they probably got this in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, this looked very strong for them. Of course, a lot of it did hint on the fact that they completely shut down Zenith in this game. Zenith was never able to get going on this Vi, and I can talk from firsthand experience, if you get shut down early on Vi, you feel awful through the rest of the game, because there's not really anything you can do. You can't go aggressive because you're just going to die immediately. You can't really offer much protection because you don't have the damage to be able to really pose a threat to anyone that you're trying to stop from diving your backline. Yeah. You just feel like you feel out of sorts because there isn't a whole lot that Vi can do when she gets shut down the way that she did in this game.
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a short break. Do not go anywhere. The third game between Team Young and Team Mayhem is coming up, and now we'll decide who's gonna go to the match point first. And after this match, we're gonna have the grand final today with Team Tribe versus Team Goons. The most anticipated match of the entire tournament is gonna be best out of 5 right here on Trovo.live. If you're watching the stream, haven't go to Trovo, make sure to use the link in the chat. Right now, to head to Trovo for the grand finals. So the grand final will be casted on Trovo exclusively. What you're waiting for? We'll see you guys on Trovo in a little bit. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back yet again to the Mobile Mayhem North America Wild Rift Tournament Season 1 playoff and the third place match and the grand final today. If you haven't liked, subscribe, and turn the bell on to all notification bells, make sure to go ahead and do that. We're now in the third match between Mayhem and Yon. Currently is 1-1 tied for both sides, so the game are just getting started right here. With me is the one only sexy Tasty Bacon. How are you doing, Tasty?
Doing great. It's game 3, but it's not a match point for once, Dave. Yep. We finally get a game 3 that is not going to be a deciding match for sure. So we get the opportunity to see this all-round draft ban in action, even more so than we have up to this point. Wukong is going to be one of the bans this time, along with the Ziggs. And kind of makes sense that Ziggs is now going to be getting banned a lot because, hey, once you've already picked it, you're just going to start banning that every single game now because you don't want your opponents to get it. Garen is going to be picked up there by Mayhem, though. So that is was obviously the catalyst for Yon's Game 1 victory. Now they're going to try and turn it around on Yon and use it themselves.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Once you have a champion that you just won with, I mean, obviously lost, but you just had like a decent time with. I think there are a few mistakes, and obviously you're right. Zenith rank 1, which just didn't have a good game last game. The melee and jungle kind of get destroyed, but not to a lot of Mayhem credit. I think mainly Yon's own mistake. Zenith was constantly out of position, so getting caught in the right way. Let's put it like that. And you're absolutely right. Also on the all-round ban pick part. This game is going to be game 3, and at least we're going to go to a game 4, because right now it's a 1-1, so it's not best out of 3, right? We're going to go to a game 4, and by the time we're going to go to game 4, it's going to be 15 champions banned automatically for each side. Like, all the 15 champions that used in the previous games are no longer allowed to be used, and if you're looking at the stream right now, all the champions in the center of the screen are champions that's already been used by both teams for the previous 2 matches, right? So if you look at those, all those champions are no longer going to be picked up going forward. So the match is only going to get more and more intense. We're going to see a lot more unorthodox picks, a lot more interesting, exciting picks that you do not see in a traditional icon series, for example. So just I don't know, knock knock, right? Hire us for your next tournament. Okay, so if you look at the current ban picks so far, I like the Ziggs ban, and I project this to be banned for all the future matches. I don't think Yang would like to give Mayhem such a powerful poke option going forward in these matches.
Yeah, and there's definitely plenty of shifting things up and going away from the Alistar for this game.
For a long time, Lulu was paired with Shyvana. I mean, are we gonna see a Shyvana in this game who builds full tank and then just go in? I mean, we already have a Garrett, and if you look at like a super hyper carry late game ADC, Tristana got you covered, right? So they don't really need more damage. On top of it, they're gonna get another mage as mid lane. So like getting Shyvana building full tank and just dive in, be this gigantic Trignosaurus. I don't know if they're the right word, like a dinosaur. Just go in, be a dragon slash dinosaur. It's just gonna be really fun. So that might be a option they consider. I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of options on the table right now. Let's take a look of what choices do they have.
I mean, there's still plenty of options available to them if they want to go for something a little bit more unconventional, especially. And Amumu being hovered would definitely be one of those, somewhat more unconventional picks. Yeah. But it's one of those picks. It is a pick that can have some great success. If you're looking for a big AoE team fight, you have that huge lockdown that comes with the Amumu ultimate. But with the Xin Zhao being hovered as well, this is okay.
Wait a minute. Wait, is that for real?
I'm curious if we have another draft glitch here, because I do not see a team picking Xin Zhao and Amumu in the same comp.
Here, because this doesn't look very right. It looks. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but also it might just be right. It might just be right. Because again, it's not a last second pick. It's fairly early. Xin Zhao makes sense, and I think Xin Zhao and Lulu will definitely have a lot of synergy on top of it. So it also makes sense over there. It's real. It's real. It's Amumu and Xin Zhao.
Wow. Okay then. So I'm trying to figure out where they're going to be putting these champions. And I guess Amumu support. Maybe with Lulu in the mid lane and Xin Zhao in the jungle?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they have to. Lulu mid. It's gonna be Suki on Lulu mid. Whoa, no. No, I got some news that they might be even saying that Amumu was going mid lane. I don't know. I mean, we can't confirm. We're just
We're gonna find out in a few moments. But my goodness, we were talking about maybe teams will start pushing the envelope with their comps, but this is completely off the wall.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and this is the power of all-around ban pick for you. We're gonna see a lot more exciting picks coming out, like different strategies, like niche strategies people are kind of practicing off the stream, off the tournaments. This is why I like this ban pick format so much, because it's just so different. You don't get to see the same picks, same bans every single time, because in a traditional ban pick format, like, I don't see a reason why a team would deviate from, a single strategy they're having so much success with, unless an enemy team find a way to ban some crucial pieces of it, right? And then you just have to practice standard 2 comps, you're good to go. For every single pro player, I only need to know 2 to 3 champions, you're good to go, like for their position, But in all-round ban pick, you don't have that problem, right? Because every champion you use you can only use it one time. We're gonna see so much varieties and so much interesting strategies. In fact, Yasuo just find its way into the tournament as well. And we just, oh, actually, that's an Olaf pick in the very end, so it's not in Yasuo. We just got confirmation for that. That is a little, again, weird from Team Young side. Yeah, it's gonna be Olaf. So, but it makes sense, right? Olaf jungle, you got a Diana mid, you got a Galio support. So Young's pick is definitely more traditional, and Mayhem, we're seeing something more interesting in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a very different looking game than what we've seen in our previous 2 in this matchup. I'm really looking forward to seeing where these champions on the side of Mayhem are going to be going, who's going to be playing what, and how this game is going to shape up, especially through the first few minutes. Amumu is one of those champions that if he doesn't get ahead early, if he falls behind early, he just never seems to have any sort of impact on the game. So absolutely going to be something to watch out for wherever he ends up going. And then also just the fact that it's the Jinzhao Lulu with Garen, like that's a lot of options for, there's all in. It is all in. Once the team fight starts, there is no backing out of it. Lulu's going to have plenty of targets to try and get those big knockups with the ultimate. But this is going to be an exciting game either way.
Yeah, it's all in from both sides actually, right? But if you look at it, Amumu was in mid lane. If they fall behind, you're absolutely right. They do not have many options. Amumu cannot clear a wave. I thought it's gonna be Lulu mid, just as you did. I think it makes a lot more sense, right? Because Lulu can at least have some kind of wave presence, wave clear presence. Amumu just doesn't offer that. He's just getting melee range. And how much poke are you gonna take? And you're just gonna open up more opportunities for Diana to engage. And in fact, this match is now being loaded. Let's quickly jump into the game to see exactly which person is going where in the 3rd match between Team Yon and Team Mayhem.
Well, there we see it. It is Suki with the Amumu and Perry on the Lulu. So Amumu in the mid lane. This is going to be, I mean, if I'm the Diana, if I'm 9 on the side of Yon, I am licking my lips at the opportunity to go up against an Amumu in lane, because he's so immobile. Like, there's no way for him to escape. If Diana jumps on him, he's just going to be taking a huge chunk of damage every single time.
Yeah, he is taking it. He's going to be heating it. So I'm expecting an Abyssal Mask first item, to be honest. So you kind of have to do that. I don't think you got many options. You're going to go magic defense. But it seems like his auto attack is kind of hurt right now. Like, probably because, I mean, nice, very questionable choice of going for skill 1 as your first skill. You're going against a melee champion, right? I mean, skill 2 was definitely the more reasonable, logical option over there, right? If you get skill 2 and just go for a shield, like, you're gonna be trading a lot of HP from Amumu completely for free. It doesn't matter which kind of trade you go to. So, I mean, it's level 2 now, so you're gonna get that shield for the next trade. Oh, actually, he learned E instead. So she's looking for the combo damage, seems like.
Yeah, that's gonna be that early damage burst that Diana can provide, especially once she hits level 3, things are gonna get pretty scary for Suki. I feel like on this Amumu, just because of the again, that hard engage that she goes right in as soon as she hits level 3. There it is. Immediately goes in. Doesn't actually connect with everything there. So Mumu does survive and able to walk away. But on the bottom side, like you mentioned, Vicky takes a ton of damage but is just going to be able to use that honey fruit to heal up as the rotation from the jungle comes through. And meanwhile, Olaf, he made his presence known mid, but is now making his way up towards the top side of the map.
And Xin Zhao splitting the bottom farm is definitely be setting his laner a little bit behind, but at the same time, it does offer laner opportunity to rotate a lot earlier. You can see the mirror jungling action from both sides right now. Olaf quietly but surely, confidently making his way to the...
Oh, Tristana jumping in on the bottom side. They're going to be getting so much damage. The bomb is going to explode and not quite take down Kai'Sa, leaving her at a sliver of health.
I think he's able to escape like that twice in a row now. You know, mid lane though. Look at Amumu!
Suki doing the damage to Diana, but 9 is just going to eat that honey fruit and heal back up. You know, I mean, part of that is going to happen when you're fighting in the middle of the minions like that, but it is still kind of surprising to see that there was so much damage done. But up on the top side of the map, it's suddenly a bloodbath up there as 2 members end up going down. The Garen and the Olaf both falling here, but that does leave Camille as the lone person standing up in this top lane. He's going to be able to get a good amount of farm and be able to push in under the turret, denying farm from the Garen, getting a little bit of damage on the turret as well before the recall.
Yeah. I mean, the untraditional pick, I want to focus on this Amumu right here. Right? The untraditional pick is working out. He's winning against one of the strongest fighter mage mid lane choices in the entire game. Like, Amumu's winning against Diana, who would guess, right? I mean, I wanna know, like, if there's a way that we can see skill distributions, that would be great. I mean, obviously the spectator mode is still being improved. You can see this is a product in the making, so you don't see like how to distribute the skills right now. Like on PC, you can see every single detail of your dream, right? So over here,
if you hit the little helmet icon on the scoreboard, you can see their skill distribution.
Really? There's a helmet icon on the scoreboard. Helmet icon. Where's the helmet
icon?
On
the left side of the scoreboard, beneath the little trophy.
Oh! I'm so sorry. You're a god. You're a god. I'm so sorry. I did not know that. I did not know
you
that
learn
was
something new. You learn something new every day. But yeah, Amumu, 3 points in the I can't remember the name of it right now. Tantrum. That's what it is. 3 points in the tantrum. Obviously, that's what you're going to be skilling first for farming, for damage. That is just the kind of default Amumu. You rush down your third ability because that is your most spammable ability for damage. So it makes sense that that's going to be the.
Here it comes again. Now I want to point out Diana actually learned skill 1. This first max the skill 1 is the first skill. Personally, I like skill 2, especially going against melee. A lot of melee damage coming from entire team. Yan right here, team Mayham, sorry. I mean, they have a lot of melee damage, right? Melee burst damage. If you max your shield, it'll give you a lot more benefit. They give you cooldown reduction, increase the size of the shield. You have a lot more burst damage. Overall, like, I think it's a questionable skill distribution in this game. Because 9 could have very well just max the skill 2, max the shield, and just be insanely strong, insanely unkillable. Every single time she dives. Not to mention how much more frequently she can spam that shield. Especially consider going against a Xin Zhao, going against a Amumu in this case, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, you know, like you said, with Amumu, you know, yes, having that poke against Amumu is nice, but if you have that shield, that means you are guaranteed to win every single trade. You go in, put the shield up, his tantrum is not going to break through that shield, and you've just won the trade by default. So I definitely agree. I think skilling up the shield would have been a little bit of a, you know, maybe made this lane a little bit stronger for the Diana, but right now still holding a slight gold lead of about 400 for Diana in the mid lane. Both mid laners do have their first items completed, but now Dragon is going to be started up here about a minute and a half after there's really no contest from the side of Mayhem on that one. So Yawn getting that Dragon basically for free. They just commit a little bit of a rotation to it, and that's really all it cost them.
Yeah, Yawn's able to get that first Dragon, and then does put himself at 1,000 gold differences, 1,000 gold advantage. Not that much, to be honest. And then Rift Herald is coming up. This is going to be, who's going to get the first Rift Herald? Because if you look at all the tier 1 towers, it's fairly healthy on all sides. In fact, it's completely almost untouched, you know, for all of the turrets. So whoever gets this Rift Herald is definitely going to give them a huge lead going to the first tower. But before that...
Oh, big 3-man taunt from the Galio, but they can't follow up on it. 9 is actually running for the hills now. There goes Amumu getting a 3-man stun, and it's going to be the first kill of this fight going to Mayhem, but the follow-up is there. Amumu does finally fall. Thought he was going to go down much sooner, but Tristana picking up a couple for herself as well, and that is 3 kills going the way of Mayhem, and that should be the Rift Herald for them as well.
Oh my goodness. Dude, what a great engage. This is the synergy they're looking for, right? The Amumu Lulu combination, the Wumble combo.
Sorry to cut you off, Dave, but bottom lane, it is Camille diving under the turret onto the Garen and gets the 1v1 solo kill.
MTS, man. You can't sleep on MTS. I've said this over and over again. All right, one of the uprising stars in the well-ripped competitive scene, and you can bet on the fact that this guy is going pro, like because he has so much pro experience, and then he was the one person that I know that was willing to relocate all the way to Korea to actually, you know, learn how to play pro, learn to join a pro organization in the mobile space from North America. So during a pandemic, so definitely really incredible player. And then yeah, you already see like he's been winning his lane all along, and every time when Team Yon is behind, they have to look to MTS for the carry. You know, even last game, like I think Kragus was their only hope. We were talking about like the way how he's scaling, how he's being really scary. But this game, MTS only getting scarier and scarier right now on the Camille.
Yeah, and in game number 1, it was MTS on that Garen that just took over the entire game. And now it's against a Garen, and he still has himself a nice lead of about 1,000 gold versus the Garen for Camille here. So definitely putting in the work in this Baron lane, not only playing the meta matchups, but also knowing how to play against them.
Yeah. Ooh, it looks like we have a little bit lane swap back. You know, the Dragon laner is coming back to the Dragon side. The Baron laner go back to the Baron lane, but top tower is 1 shot away from death. And then bottom tier 1 tower is 1 shot away from death. Even though you have some Wumble combo from Team Mayhem right here, but they're gonna be kind of behind on standing gold. You know, I think if they're able to if Team Yong's able to get those 2 towers, they're gonna put themselves drastically ahead instead of this, like, you know, 1,700 gold deficit on bottom side.
Oh, Vicky looking for the fight, but there's going to be 2 members coming. Instead, it's going to be the swamp from Galio. Mumu gets a nice stun off, but Suki is just going to be the first one to fall. 3 low health bars, but Kaisa wants to go back in. They're finding plenty of damage onto the Jinjiao. Gets knocked up, but the Tristana bomb is not going to be enough to get a kill. Instead, it will be the Galio finding more and more. Diana goes back in. The Rift Herald is dropped, but this is just going to be a distraction, really, as it is going to be the side of Yawn that clean house on that team fight, and the Rift Herald does nothing.
It feels like a waste, you know, like the Rift Herald did nothing at all. Like, that's a panic Rift Herald. You might as well save it, you know.
It might have even been just a mistap, to be completely honest, because you know, if you're used to like dropping a sweeper or, you know, dropping a ward in the middle of a fight and you go and just hit it and you go, oh, I just dropped the Rift Herald in the middle of the lane with nothing, no push potential behind it. So I think that I would actually think that was more than likely a mistap on the Rift Herald drop. But right now, Tsuki is going to be in a little bit of trouble, as Amazing is now looking for a skirmish. The Dragon has been started, is dropped to about half health. Everyone is going to be looking to go in. Lots of damage coming out from Galio. The Dragon does get taken, but Galio is dropped. There's a nice engage, though, by the Camille. Going to be jumping right back in. The Jinjiao is trying to get out, but can't go anywhere. And Garen will fall as well. Here comes the Camille and the Kaisa looking for extra damage. Flash from MTS Amazing. Not sure if that was... I maybe thought someone was closer to the bomb. So close. That's the 3rd or 4th time that we've seen a Tristana bomb just drop someone to about 5 health.
There's definitely a lot of mechanic misplay right here. Suki does give his life on the mid-tier 1 tower. I think it's worth it, but if next waves comes up, they don't have their mid laner. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, when you have Amumu as your choice of mid lane, you're gonna be... It's either all in or gone, right? Like, it's you have to win the team fight and you win it decisively, because you do not have the back and forth that entire Team Yawn has in this game. You saw it in the very last team fight in the replays. in the bottom lane, like, it was pretty decent engage from a Mumu and Lulu combo, like, but then right after that, the entire team Yawns just out-kite their opponents. Just because how much poke they have, how much re-engage they have from Galio, from Diana. Whereas Mumu, they go in for the one set of combos and they're done, right? They're just sitting in place. If they're not able to find a win, they're done. Okay.
Oh, amazing is dealing with Garen, but there, the Baron was actually started by Yawn, and it had to be stopped, and it was a nice pick by Garen to take out the Olaf. So Olaf is not here for this Baron take, but it looks like there's going to be Mayhem backing away as the engagement comes in. The Galio and the Camille going in simultaneously with the big Diana ultimate. Everyone is so low, but they're not quite dropping just yet. Galio is trying to find some kills, but he just doesn't have the damage and can't get onto those low health bars. And it is 2 for 3 in favor of Mayhem, but everyone is so low. Amazing. Now has to try and make a play against this Tristana, but Tristana is big right now, has so much damage, jumping on forward, finds the kill, gets the reset, and now can she deal with the Olaf, just jumps away. Olaf's trying to run right at him, but that's going to be a lot of damage just dealt right back to him instead. So great job by Mayhem and Soju on the Tristana. This is that pick that we keep talking about every time we see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's time for Soju to pop up and step up and pop up, to be honest, because we've seen Tristana, like, we talked about first week, Tristana absolutely popped off and left it just a huge impression on everybody. And then week 2, week 3 just wasn't very, very good for their entire team. And now come to the 3rd and 4th place, the final stage of the entire tournament. He stepped up the plate, just did out so much damage, really beautiful positioning all around, able to find a kill on MTS as well in the very end. Just incredible play from Soju Rain over there on the Tristana. If you're able to reset, right now it's only going to get scarier at this point. If you're not able to find a kill on Tristana effectively, she's going to out-kite you because she's the marksman, the ADC in the game that has the longest range, attack range, and also a lot of burst damage packed in her kit. You really can't keep on chasing a Tristana, especially a Tristana with red buff. It's going to slow you down and burst out, throw so much burst damage. On top of that, if you were able to create a little bit of distance, it's going to out-kite you, like, to infinity.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for Amazing to try and get onto this Tristana with the Hextech ultimatum to keep her from being able to jump out of danger. As that's really what's been able to happen in these fights is Tristana gets jumped on, but then immediately uses the rocket jump to get to safety. But right now, Sirento, he is in so much trouble. Hextech ultimatum is used. Not sure I agree with that decision, but there's a big Amumu ultimate. Lots of lockdown, and Jinjiao is chasing the Garen ult, finds one. Amumu finds another. Galio ults to the backside of the fight and kind of gets himself out to safety, but that's 2 quick kills picked up by the side of Mayhem, and the Infernal Dragon has just spawned.
Oh my goodness. This Tristana is tremendous. It's just gigantic. It's a monster right now. If you look at, again, I have to say, if you can't kill the Tristana, if you can't find a kill on Tristana, do not waste your skills, right? I mean, even Tasty pointed out, like, very accurately, we're expecting the Hextech ultimatum from Camille to be going on Tristana, but I think at this point everybody was a little bit just like too rushed. They need to take a breather and really reconsider for Team Young about their win condition. Their win condition is Tristana being gone. Everybody, yes, if you look at Mayhem, they have this wombo combo from Mumu, from Xinjiao, from Lulu. But then after that, they're done. They're like just sitting duck, ready to be slaughtered. Tristana is so mobile and really the main damage source for all these team fights, So you can't just keep on letting this guy run free. You gotta find a way to force a kill on him, even though this guy has the hourglass, the stasis, but you have to find a way to force a kill on him. And that's your only win condition, to be honest, at this point of the game.
The other thing I want to point out here, Dave, is 3 members of Mayhem have the Gargoyle Stoneplate Boots enchantment. So it is going to be so difficult to take down anyone on this team. Yes, Tristana is the squishiest target, but has that stasis. You then have the 3 Gargoyle enchantments, and the Locket from the Lulu, plus just Lulu's protection in general. That is so much to keep this team, especially the Tristana, alive. and it's going to be a lot easier said than done for the side of Yawn to just kill Tristana.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because they know that. I mean, at this game, I gotta give more credit to Mayhem in this particular game, because they understand their win condition, and the win condition has one word called Tristana, right? Like, you just have to keep Tristana alive. If Tristana stay alive, in the very last team fight, even though Amumu and Xingjiao jumped in to go against the entire team of Yawn, like, Lulu was pretty calm, right? She did not use the ultimate on Amumu. She did not use the ultimate on Xingjiao. She's like, nah, screw you guys. You guys are pawns. You're just going in and sacrifice yourself. I want to save my own Tristana. And Tristana wasn't even touched. And she still gave the ult to Tristana. So you already see a trend of how the team fight's going to go. The entire team of Mayhem, they're going to be surrounding this Tristana, right? If they keep this guy alive, it's going to be a really hard game for Yawn.
Yep, Soju Rain on this Tristana, the absolute catalyst to this game. I mean, Mayhem is down 4,000 or 5,000 gold, but it really does not feel like they're the ones that are behind at the moment. Yeah. They've kind of won these last couple team fights. It really feels like they have a strong advantage. But Camille going in. Oh, didn't get the ultimate onto the Tristana. That could have been devastating if MTS Amazing had gotten that ultimate down and locked Tristana in place.
Well, I think he probably has his consideration. He's trying to bait out some skills. Because if you look at Tristana, he does have the stasis, and just as you correctly pointed out, they got a Lulu ultimate ready, they got everybody else skills just ready to be deployed to save this Trist. So I think MTF was trying to bait out some skills first before if you commit the ultimate. Because if you waste it all in first try, really that's the only chance for them to kill Trist. Here it comes.
Oh, big team fight here. Tristana's on the back lines. Hextech ultimate and does get dropped, but there's so much keeping Tristana alive. No one has even touched Soju Rain, and Soju Rain is just melting them. Absolute destruction from this Tristana. That's going to be Vicky getting over the wall, but not getting any further than that. And now Galio, the next target to fall. Tristana jumps on forward, gets the one-shot reset, and it's only MTS Amazing that gets out alive. I mean, that was just an untouched fight for Tristana.
Yeah. I mean, this is... I think protecting the flag or seize the flag. What's the game called again? Where like all you do is just capture the flag, right? Like, you gotta do everything you can to capture the key objective. And the key objective is Tristana, but I mean, I think pretty detailed execution for MTS with the bait out some skills. Still, at this point of the game, it might be too late, too late, you know, at this point. Tristana's too huge. You see how much damage she's able to dish out with one single auto tag. On that Galio, on everybody on our team right now. That game, Tristana stayed alive in the back because they tried to hit Tristana, but just not able to do it in time or as much damage they needed. And Tristana stays alive right now with this Elder Dragon coming in. I mean, this is a game, this is a GGWP for the favor of Mayhem, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It would take a massive throw for Yawn to get back in this one. Tristana is just so far ahead. Baron buff and Elder. I don't think I've ever seen a team come back from having both Baron and Elder buffs on their opponents. Right now, just the damage on the turret. Just 4 shots on the turret, and the turret's down to 700 health. Tristana jumping in aggressively, but knows she has the protection. Soju does go low, but is going to go golden as the rest of the team just melts, and that is going to be it. Mayhem will take game number 2 as the Nexus falls.
Oh my goodness. Mayhem had a not so satisfying game 1. It doesn't pull them back from pushing any punches. You know, like, they are just ready to go to have an epic comeback, show you, to throw all this anger they had in the previous weeks and now throw it in the fighting for the 3rd place matches. Throwing all their best champions. Last game, the Fizz and Galio, their most comfortable champions. This game, Soju Rain is able to pull out the secret sauce, the Tristana, and just run through, roll over, you know, rampage through the entire team of Yawn, really. Look at the total damage Tristana is able to dish out. 52,000 damage. Jesus.
I didn't even know the damage tracker could go that high. That was absolutely incredible from Soju Rain. A well-deserved MVP for that game. And, I mean, again, team effort for sure. Everyone was focused on keeping Tristana alive. That was what this composition was designed for, and they were able to execute it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many resources you put into protecting your AD carry, that AD carry still has to perform, and Soju Rain absolutely did.
Yup. Performed, he did. 52,000 damage overall, 11 kills, and 7 hit assists with only 1 death to be counted for. So definitely really great positioning. Not even MTS can get to him throughout the entire game. I think 9th on Diana. Again, the entire team from Team Young could have just recognized a little bit earlier and focus on Tristana, because you realize everybody's tanked, right? You have seen Zhao building Death Dance so early. You got Amumu building a freaking Abyssal Mask, Zekis. You gotta go for a full tank. Lulu just supporting the back. Garen is a full tank. So really it comes down to just a Tristana, killing Tristana game. But, ladies and gentlemen, before it gets to the match point, for Team Mayhem, we're gonna take a short break. This is your chance to use the link in the chat. Go to trovo.live, because right after the 3rd place match, we're gonna go to the grand final featuring Team Goons and Team Tribes, the game that you're here for. Make sure to go to trovo.live, because the grand final will be casted on Trovo exclusively. Big shout out to Mobile Mayhem and Trovo for making this event happen. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, Mr. Sexy Tasty Bacon. We'll see you guys after the short break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Mobile Mayhem North America Wild Rift Tournament Season 1. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, Mr. Tasty Bacon. We are now at the 4th game between Team Mayhem and Team Young in the 3rd place battle, with Mayhem 2-1 ahead of their opponent. How are you doing, Tasty?
I mean, we're looking forward to a game 4 for the first time here in Mobile Mayhem.
Yes.
Looking at these drafts are going to be extremely exciting because there are so many champions that are now not able to be picked by these teams. Again, just for a reminder for anyone who hasn't been watching all along with us, all-round draft format means that if you pick a champion, you cannot pick that champion for the rest of the match. So you see the champions that they selected in the previous games. Not those teams cannot pick those champions again. As you can see, your opponents can still pick them. Galio has been picked by both teams, so he's off the table completely. Camille has been picked by both teams, off the table completely. There's a lot of champions that are now completely unpickable from both sides, but there's at least 16 champions before you even get into the first picks that cannot be picked in for each team. Absolutely going to be wild to see what these comps look like.
I mean, last game we got Amumu and Lulu and they won with it. so this game is only going to get weirder and weirder. And yet again, we see the Malphite first pick. Like, I understand that Malphite is really decent, a really strong, powerful, engaged tool. Still, first pick option is never something that I'm big fan of, especially considering that there's actually quite a bit of choices left. If you're looking for a tank, you're looking for fighters on the Baron lane. Now, obviously this is game 4. You pointed out there are many champions banned out on both sides. 15 by default because they already picked them. They're showing on the screen right now. And 2 that's banned for this game. But still, Young was able to find himself the Rakan and Xayah combo, the incredible, insane, the most popular combo duo, deadliest duo on the land of Wild Rift, including that Zenith rank 1 Wukong, the trump card they've been saving for so long. I mentioned in the last stream, Zenith rank 1 was actually known, at least I know him for being the Wukong 1 trick. So finally we're seeing him pulling this champion out in the game 4 actually. They really want to take us to a game 5. Because right now it's Mayhem's game point. So Young gonna do whatever it takes to stay in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be definitely some still strong picks available, especially, I mean, I'm wondering if maybe this was the plan from Yawn. Say, hey, we win game number 1. We then, maybe give up a little bit in games 2 and 3, then come back in game 4 with an extremely strong composition that we just haven't been picking yet with the Xayah, Rakan, Wukong. I mean, these are picks that we normally see teams grab in game 1 or game 2. So very much some powerful picks coming through here, even still this deep into the game, into the match.
Yeah. And I gotta say, already, I'm in favor of Young's composition a lot more than Mayhem, right? Personally, I've talked about this again in the past. Israel and Alistar just doesn't work that well together, because Alistar is all about full dive, and Israel doesn't do that. Israel usually stays in the back, does auto attack, throw Qs, and occasionally if you see somebody kind of low and you try to dive in. But when you have an Alistar and Israel, you're gonna put Alistar in a really awkward position. Like, who is Alistar gonna engage on, and who does it engage for? If Alistar engage on somebody, Rakan and Xayah, he's gonna take a free beating because Israel cannot do too much damage to follow up. And that's always gonna be the biggest problem with picking these two in the same team. Like, I understand it makes a lot of sense to even have a Seraphine support or Janna support. If you look at the entire team of Mayhem, they haven't picked up Janna yet, right? So if they just had a more protective support, let Israel poke for free. The protection aspect we're talking about in the previous matches, we have a Varus and Janna being picked out. So again, this game, look at the composition. They got the Orianna wombo combo, the deadliest ball, right? Putting the ball on Wukong, jumping in for the wombo combo. You got a Rakan engage, you got a Xayah combo. I'm already just like that much more in favor of Young's composition. Now, it just comes down to the execution, to be honest. Can Young pull this composition off and really take us to game 5?
Yeah, I mean, right now looking pretty darn strong. And I mean, game number 1, it was the Garen that decimated the Darius, but Garen can't be picked by the side of Mayhem. So, you know, that big counter isn't available, and Darius looks a little bit stronger there. I mean, against a Malphite, I definitely feel like Darius can be very strong into that, but there is still room for Malphite to win that matchup. You go for that early Bramble Vest to deny some of the healing, and then once you have your ultimate, you actually can win fights against Darius as Malphite. So just because it is that really strong pick for the side of Yawn, don't count out the Malphite in this particular matchup, especially with 3 AD threats on that side. Not Suki, I say Suki because his name's there. The Malphite is going to be able to build a whole bunch of armor and have a whole bunch of damage dished out, even if he doesn't build any actual magic damage.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun experience for both sides, actually. I mean, you pointed out that Malphite is not going to be losing to Darius automatically, and there's a lot of truth to that, because Malphite can just throw a Q and it just give himself a lot of movement speed. And on top of it, Malphite really is a tanky, very, very tanky champion, and not mentioning he can slow down the attack speed to almost 0. Like, you almost feel like you're not attacking, right, on Darius. And if Darius cannot keep on auto-attacking to get those passive stacks, yeah, just get like 1 or 2 stacks on Malphite is not going to hurt that much. Especially Malphite going to get that shield every so often. So, I mean, the Baron side is going to be like even matchup. Yeah, I completely agree with that. The other side, though, I like the Lee Sin pick in to help with the early game a little bit. Overall, Mayhem won that engaged competition. I think Israel is just going to be a pick. That's just going to be, I think they picked out of convenience, right? Like, what can we pick for Soldier Rain that he's mostly comfortable with, right? We already picked out the Kaisa that he's mostly, the Tristana he's mostly known for, the Kaisa as well as the Xayah Rakan combo that they actually lost with. So at this point, I think if you look at all the options available as a marksman choice, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for him to pick out Israel. I think it's more of a comfort pick than the pick that might fits more into the composition specifically.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely it's going to be an interesting matchup to watch for sure. I really want to see kind of this early game, the jungle matchup, how that's going to look. Lee Sin versus Wukong, we see it constantly, but it really can go either way. If this Lee Sin goes for the early invade, we've seen Wukong's not be able to do anything all game. We've also seen Wukong's take over games, but usually it's when it's paired with someone else that has a knockup, that has an engage, that can follow up with him. A lot of times it's Wukong and Galio paired together that we see just causing havoc on the Rift. But we're going to be getting into game number 4, match point for the side of Mayhem. We'll see if they can wrap this one up or if Yawn is going to take us to game number 5. Dave, let's get into it.
Let's get into it now with Mayhem 2-1 ahead. In fact, I just realized there was a tiny, mistake on the scoreboard. I just got that fixed. In game 4 with Yawn, Mayhem 2 games ahead. This is a Yawn's game. They gotta take this win to take us to game 5, or they're gonna be placed in 4th place, and Mayhem gonna walk away with number 3 in North America competitive scene as we see right now. So again, I'm in favor of Yawn's composition. So they do have an upper hand in terms of draft from my personal view on winning this game. So it's all coming down to execution. Can they actually take this really good draft and win with it?
In the bottom lane, Stovey on this Rakan is going to be going pretty aggressive, especially when you have the Xayah Rakan pairing. You're going to see a lot of aggression coming from that duo. But in the mid lane, there's Wukong going into that first engage. Going to get a lot of damage on Suki. If 9 didn't get caught by the root there from the Seraphine, that would have been an extremely favorable trade for the side of Yawn. But for now, it is going to be Kodo making the answer gank and getting a lot of damage onto Zenith now.
Yeah, look at that. It's just, I don't understand this. This is a mid lane stare down again, right? It's the same stuff we see many games. Doesn't matter which team is playing it. Goons, Tribe, they all do the same. Let's just go ahead and stare at each other in mid lane and eventually walk away. I mean, like what is the purpose of that? What do you accomplish? What do you truly accomplish? Like if I'm jungler, I would kind of walk away and hide in a bush and just see if I can bait out something. Ooh, look at Lee Sin though. I think he already used Smite. This is gonna be kind of scary.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be scary. He starts to back off as he recognizes that the enemy jungler and mid laner are coming to contest. So he does end up giving up on the attempted steal of the blue buff. He knows he still has his own blue buff to go after as well. So we'll have to keep our eyes on, is Wukong going to go for that now that he knows that Lee Sin hasn't gotten a blue buff just yet and just retreated into his topside jungle. Both teams, well, I want to see how they play around this information, if they even do play around the information of knowing that both junglers are topside.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now it's been a pretty peaceful game. This is the game 4 we're talking about. Neither team want to lose this game easily in the early game. Mayhem, they want to take it slow. They want to take it careful. They do have Israel. Bottom side, you're not going to see much engage and disengage. You can see Perry just get a free poke as I correctly predicted. Right, because they're going to lose this poke battle, right? You're not going to win against Rakan and then Xayah on the bottom side with an Alistar and Israel. Like, even if Alistar goes in, he's full mana. You can see probably never engage. But even if he goes in,
here comes Proto looking to try and make something happen, but he gets rooted up and he's completely isolated. The charm comes out. He just barely gets away. One more auto attack would have done it. But now Wukong lurking, but he ends up not going to commit for a dive, seeing that Seraphine was rotating down as well. They do decide to play it safe.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one more time. What a beautiful play from Team Yon, bottom side. What a beautiful play from Stovey and Wiki over there. They really timed that out, right? Like the knockup, the quad control, the stun, the root. It was one after another. That's a definition of chin quad control. Unfortunately, just missing a little bit of damage. I think if Wiki's auto attack the last feather, if they landed, it would have killed that Lee Sin for sure. Unluckily for them, it just didn't land. And that would be a beautiful play, right? Like a 3-on-2 with a gank, 2-on-3 against a gank and able to survive and get a kill. Well, that's going to be a play of the day there. That would have been.
If it had worked out, yeah. Absolutely would have been. Instead, Alistar. No one has gone down yet, but a big engage from Alistar gets a nice knockup. But there is answer from Wukong and Rakan to just knock everyone up just as well. And it is blue team that gets the first blood as Xayah takes down Lee Sin. It was a great idea on the engage, but they didn't have the vision to know that there was almost the entire enemy team waiting.
Yeah, and also you gotta, if you're a team Mayhem right now, you gotta realize that Soju on the Israel is not gonna do damage, right? His damage completely rely on skill damage, his ultimate damage. It doesn't have that, it's no damage. The fact that they engaged without Seraphine was a huge mistake. Right? They needed Seraphine. If Seraphine wasn't there, they should have not done anything too drastic. And that's exactly what we saw, right? They didn't have Seraphine, but sure enough, they're able to get this dragon for some reason, completely leveraging the missed timer from the entire team Yon right there. So good job on Mayhem's side from recognizing that and get a free dragon out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely a dragon that they should not have gotten after losing that previous team fight, or, losing at least a member in the previous team fight. But, heads up play by Mayhem to recognize what the situation was, where everyone was on the map, and just go for the objective. They secure themselves that first dragon of the game, get themselves a little bit of a map advantage in that sense. They are still down by a little under 1,000 gold, but that's not going to be a relevant marker for a little while.
Yeah. Ooh, and Rift Out is coming up. No, we definitely need to see team have better recall timers. And this is something that can easily be done, right? It's not like a hard concept. You can just go watch Tribe and go watch GOONS and see how they rotate the first dragons, how they prepare for the first dragons. These two teams that kind of exemplified, kind of just gotten this under their grasp. They understand when to go back. At what time do you go home? You have to go home to get your first item and rotate the first objective. And not losing minion waves, really. So if you just watch those two teams and kind of get a pattern of when they go home, like one wave before the first dragon spawn, before the river house spawn, they go home and get their items, so they don't have to do that again. And they're able to fight and get objective right after that. So a lot of teams can really look at examples and learn. Look at Rift Herald though.
Well, Rift Herald is going to get secured by Mayhem, but here comes the knockup. The huge engagement from the Malphite is going to be setting this up beautifully for the side of Yon, and they are just tearing through the health bars. Vicky is trying to do what they can on the backside of the fight, but they are going to be the next target down. Ezreal finds that kill, double kill for him, and 4 kills for the side of Mayhem. Absolutely cleaning house there.
Oh my goodness, what a great engage from Alistar and a follow-up from Malphite there. this is the wombo combo that we would like to see. You know, both sides have great engages. It all comes down to execution. And Israel, like I said, his damage is ultimate. But that particular ult was just beautiful. You got an Alistar with 3-man knockup and a Malphite follow up on 4, I think. I mean, and a Seraphino on top of it. It was just devastating instantaneously. So a great wombo combo synergy coming out from Team Mayhem right there. If they can pull this out, they can take us. They can end the game, end the entire series right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that huge combo that they have for that engagement, I mean, like you said, you're knocked up twice. You're charmed by Seraphine. That's so many members of your team that just aren't able to act for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds in the fight. And at that point, the team fight's already over. Like, you just can't come back from that. So really have to be wary of where the enemy is coming from and figuring out some way to be able to deal with all of that crowd control that they have on the side of Mayhem.
Yeah, I think really is it comes down who engaged first, right? If Wukong and Orianna able to find a beautiful engage first, it's gonna be devastating because then you're looking at a Chansey Sieve onto Mayhem side, right? Like, because they have a lot of knockups as well. Wukong's 2 knockup on the Orianna knockup. I mean, pull in at the same time on the Rakan knockup onto the at the same time Darius knockups the pull. So they have a lot of countermeasures themselves. It's just mainly who engages first. And over there, it was just Alistar finding a beautiful window with 3-man knockups with Malphite at the right position at the right time. So once again, credit bottom side.
And it's a pretty hefty push here onto this bottom turret. They're not gonna get any kills off of it, but they should, with a 3-man push and a wave of minions, be able to get some good damage on this turret. It looks like Yon wants to try and stop this happening. Great 3-man knockup from Wukong, but no one is following up with him. And it's just going to be Wukong basically doing a little bit of damage, taking a lot more in return, and Dragon getting started by Mayhem.
Once again, Young staying a little bit too long. They stay a little bit too long in the bottom lane. You know, they should have gone home, got their items. That's what I needed. Malphite though.
Oh, Malphite looking to go in, but it's Dragon gets secured. There's a huge Seraphine charm onto 3. Can they find the rest of the damage they need for these kills? As Orianna finds one, and that's going to be the Xayah picking up one as well, but Ezreal is starting to turn it around. Meanwhile, on the backside, it is the Darius popping the Guardian Angel, Seraphine, and Lee Sin, the only 2 left alive, as Seraphine says, hey, we may be down, but we are not out, finds another kill to trade, and it's 3 for 3 with the Dragon going to Mayhem.
Oh my god, right? This is the example, if either side kind of screw up their engage, the team fight can go either way, you know, because if you're talking about wombo combo Chansey C, where any team just cannot react at all, I mean, that's different. But if you're talking about a team composition, a team fight, where one side, like if you see this team fight specifically, you see when Malphite went in and engaged, there wasn't immediate follow-up right away. And what happened? We ended up getting a 3-3 trade, despite the beautiful ult from Malphite to knock up 2 crucial members from Team Yang. So I gotta repeat myself once again, it all comes down to execution. Who's gonna pull out the Chansey Seeds properly, and that team is most likely gonna win. No matter the goal differences, because both sides just have that much of a that many quad controls up their sleeves, right? It doesn't matter how much gold you have. It's as long as you get quad control that's CC'd over and over again, you're gonna die.
Yeah, lots of crowd control from the side of Mayhem. And there's a decent amount to answer with on the side of Yon as well. You have the Rakan, you have the Orianna, even Xayah can cause some crowd control there, and obviously Wukong jumping in can get some big knockups as well. But it is just so difficult for either of these teams to really be able to just force these pushes as the charm come through. Huge charm on 3, but a big shockwave is going to be melting them. Now it's a 5-on-2. Like, yes, you landed that huge charm, but there's still only 2 members of your team there, Dave.
Absolutely, man. And again, they're sleeping on MTS, right? They thought MTS like, okay, it's just a Darius. Who do we like? Yeah, we don't really care, right? We got a good charm, good synergy here. We got Lee Sin, but yeah, you're absolutely right. They only have 2 members. On top of it, you got a Darius staying in the front. So you charm the Darius, and you start running towards the Darius. That's just not gonna turn out good for you.
Alistar has to pop the ultimate here. Is staying alive for a very long time, but is it going to be enough? has to flash
No
out.
fight!
There's a big Malphite ult onto 3, but Darius is pulling them all in. Shockwave could come through, but it doesn't actually get used just yet. There's a huge damage with the Xayah as well, and there's just so many low health bars on the side of Mayhem. They have to retreat back to their base.
Yeah, and let's take a look at items after that chaotic trade of skills and HPs. Both ADCs are equally farmed. You know, you look at Xayah's farm, 9,600 gold with IE, with the cannon, so he's pretty farmed right now. He's looking for a third item. Israel got pretty decent item as well, right? You got the Trinity Force, the most important items in the entire game for Israel. That definitely boosts up his damage. And a lot of people like to build Gauntlet, the completely blue build for Israel. I gotta say, Wall Rift, Trinity Force is so much better. The Trinity is so much better on Israel. It does give you a lot more damage. And then, Gauntlet is nice and all. Israel already doesn't have damage, and if you build Gauntlet, it's just gonna make you do that much less. So. Both ADCs are exactly the same. Let's look at mid lane. Orianna does have about 9,200 gold compared to a 10,000 gold Seraphine. The amount of contribution Seraphine is able to pull out this game is actually insane. Like the amount of ultimates she landed, and on top of that, the burst damage she would dish out. So really good job on Suki's side. Is always going to be the steady staple, the backbone for the entire team of Mayhem.
And, well, Dragon has spawned and has been started by Yawn. But here comes the engagement. They get the charm onto the Rakan, but can they find any more? The Shockwave only hits Malphite, and Malphite goes right back in. But they're finding the damage onto the Alistar. Alistar is tanking up in the front. Malphite is already dead, though. Leeson has to flash out, but the Guardian Angel is going to get popped. Still plenty of damage coming from Seraphine and the Lee Sin now looking for a way back in. Does get in, gets a kill, but meanwhile it is going to be a kill on the Ezreal, and it's Wukong now isolated and the only member left alive, and there's the ace for Mayhem.
Oh my god. I mean, you can kind of see what direction of where this game was going, the team fight was going at the beginning of the team fight. Very chaotic engage from the entire side of Yawn right there. Like I just want to say, what was that, right? Monkey engaged and nobody else was ready to follow up. Monkey got a 4-minute knockup, I think 5-minute knockup actually. Rakan could ulted, Orianna could ulted. Nobody did that, right? It was just Darius who kind of walked up and tried to pull somebody, but it just wasn't very cohesive. Even after a beautiful Wukong ult. So a lot of mistakes being happening all across the map right here. Yawn, if they want to go to game 5, if they want to take us to a full series, they got to step up their game right here. Like this type of mistake just cannot happen against Mayhem. Mayhem have a lot of core control, which we mentioned over and over again. If you don't chain CC, you're gonna get chain CC instead. So yeah, I mean, Yawn have to step up their play, tighten up their gameplay, tighten up the communication, make sure they engage at the same time.
Yeah, this is such a close game, though, Dave. I mean, it's only a 2,000 gold difference. When's the last time we've seen a 2,000 gold difference at 15 minutes into a game? I mean, it's surprisingly close, given the fact that there are 3 dragons on the side of Mayhem. They have such a big stats advantage just based off of that, but they haven't been able to find that decisive team fight that they need to close this game out. It is every single team fight has been so close and could have swung either way, but now Baron is up and is likely to be the next focus. The Elder Dragon is going to be a ways off still, but Baron, it looks like they might be getting ready to try and start this one up. They're sweeping out, clearing out the vision is Mayhem, but they don't quite get that ward. That's going to be a little unfortunate, but clutch ward for the side of Yawn to spot out if Baron is getting started or not.
Yeah, and both junglers are, I just want to point out, both junglers are tank building. Oh, this is going to be a very, very interesting Baron fight right here. Yep,
Baron's going down to about half, but here comes Yawn, and there's the engage, a huge knockup, but a lot of it gets negated, and that's going to be a ton of damage onto the Rakan. He gets out safely, but can the side of Yawn find any extra damage? Darius is in the middle of the enemy team. He finds one, he gets a second, and that's going to be Yawn finding themselves this team fight. Seraphine doing what she can with Ezreal, but Seraphine is going to go down, and Ezreal, the last man standing. Darius picks him out of the air, and he's going to go golden. That's going to be at least allowing him to survive for now. but they did manage to find 2 kills for themselves, so no Baron is going to get picked up here.
Last team fight, what great positioning from Wiki, like throwing out damage all the time, dodging some key power with the ultimate. Overall, really insane play from Vicky over there. But I just want to give the highlight to MTS. So, like, his team was kind of spread out all around, and this time they were able to do a lot better chance to see chain quad control, right? You saw the Mukbang ulted, and you got Orianna actually ulted on top of it. The shockwave connected, and it was instantly disaster for the side of Mayhem. That's the team fight Young needed. You know, and also MTS again. He was 1 versus 3 for a long time. I think for like definitely a good 3-4 seconds over there, right? Like just on the side when the team was trying to reorganize themselves, like regroup, waiting for the cooldowns. MTS was staying up front, popping the gargoyles and tanking additional damage, taking on 3 people at a time. So the great play from this Darius, definitely putting the team on his back right now at this point.
Yeah, this has been such a wild game. Yawn does not want to lose this series. Mayhem wants to take that 3rd place spot, but neither team is giving an inch. Elder Dragon is now up in 15 seconds, and that will be huge. If the side of Mayhem is able to get Elder Dragon, I think this game is just over. A 3-Dragon Elder just does so much work for their team. That shield is going to be massive for them. And, well, we're going to be finding out where it's going to be going. Neither team is even really focusing their attention in the river. Finally, we do see Yawn starting to make their way to that direction, but they have to be careful they don't clump up. That is what has cost them so many of the earlier fights. The Dragon has been agitated. Let's see if they just continue to try and whittle it down and force the enemies to have to come to them.
And you gotta respect the Xayah damage right now. Like Xayah, 2 team fight left alone, untouched, was able to clean house, do so much damage. At this point, again, it's gonna be similar to the previous game where Mayhem, Young have to kill Mayhem's Soldier Rain on the Tristana. This game, they have to find a way, the reverse happened. They have to kill this Xayah. He's just staying there, like keep on throwing those feathers. Not mentioning the quad control, the skill damage. Mainly the auto attack hurts. It's so painful to see Xayah just hit around. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
It was such a smart movement there from Mayhem. As Yawn was starting up the Elder the first time, they said, okay, we'll just go shove mid. Elder is not as impactful for the side of Yawn as it would be for Mayhem. Yeah. So Mayhem just says, all right, you guys want to take the time to do Elder? We're going to push in your base. And it forced Yawn to have to answer and allowed then Mayhem to get the priority position. And they're looking to just rinse and repeat here as Yawn, once again, starting up the Elder, and Mayhem just say, all right, well, let's just start pushing mid. And you're going to lose turrets off of this. And we still have the opportunity to potentially respond to a fight. So I love what Mayhem is doing right now. They are pushing and pulling Yawn all over the map, forcing them to respond to their actions.
You know, because the good thing about what Mayhem is doing is they have the control from mid lane, from the mid side to the Dragon, right? They really have the control from that side. And mid lane is the shortest lane in the game, really have that advantage. So this is exactly what Young needed to reverse. They need to have control over that territory. Because if they keep on keeping control away, it's going to be the same thing, right? Mayhem is just going to go ahead and clear mid and go to Dragon, continue to go back, clear mid, go to Dragon, here it comes.
That's going to be the fight starting with Baron. Gets secured by Yawn, but now can they find a fight off the back end of this? No one is really going in. Everyone's kind of isolated, but here comes, oh, no Charm going to be landing there. No Root going to be connecting. And they get the Baron and walk away scot-free. That is a disaster for Mayhem.
Yeah. I can't believe Yawn just stole away the Baron buff. But at the same time, when you have Baron buff, you gotta push. But right now, it's like, it's a dead staring fight, right? Kind of like the mid lane in the early 2 minutes. Like, both sides just staring at each other. Nobody can really have the clear, engaged decision-making on, like, this is my opportunity to go in right here. And Baron doesn't give you that much attributes. And now here comes Malphite's teleporting in. This might be the last team fight we see right here. Dragon's already low.
Well, could be. The Dragon is extremely low. And it's going to be Yawn trying to get in, but it's going to be Zenith who takes so much damage. He's already dropped into the GA. Can Mayhem find the comeback here as Yawn is going down, but it's going to be Mayhem that drop the first couple of members, falling Suki and Sirento, and make that parry added to the list. 3 kills for Yawn Now they're chasing down number 4 and 5, but they have to be careful. They are still low. Instead, they turn their attention to the Dragon. But this is the Lee Sin and Ezreal. Ezreal can absolutely do some damage here if they decide to try and contest this. Lee Sin still has the GA ready to go. Now they're looking for this damage onto Darius. Darius pops the GA and goes onto the Ezreal. Darius will fall, but the Elder Dragon has been secured, and looks like Yawn are going to be able to take game number 4 here.
Oh my god, we are officially going to a game 5. What a series just for the 3rd and 4th match. I mean, I gotta say, the 1st and 2nd place, the Tribe and GOONS definitely gapped the rest of the NA for a little bit, but the rest of the NA is so competitive. I mean, look at this series right here.
Victory.
What is this back and forth, right? And this is definitely the game that you expect Yawn just to win by, because they win by a tiny margin. It's not like they definitely won that game, right? Like it's just they kind of stole the Baron, and in the last team fight, it was still pretty chaotic. It could have gone either way, but Malphite was definitely like what do you call it? Disconnected from the rest of the team. Malphite engaged by himself, went on one person, got himself completely killed for free. He didn't do anything in the last team fight. The Siren Toad's position was completely out of it, right? And meanwhile, if you look at Team Yawn right here, they were kind of tightened up. You know, they were trying to fight towards the back, kill the Malphite, and then kill the Alistar, and then start going back radius that way. So, great job from Yawn, able to capitalize on the mistake, and it really won that game. So, now we're going to game 5. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And the gold graph for this game, I mean, that tells the entire story. It was so back and forth. Neither team had full control of this game until the very last push. It was an incredible one to watch. And now that we're tied 2-2, there is going to be so many champions and unavailable for these teams. 20 champions that cannot be picked before we even get into the picks and bans. Before anything is banned away, before the first pick is made, there are 20 champions unavailable for each team. This is going to be a wild game 5.
Yep. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the one game that decides all. It's a 2-all now for both sides. This is it. It's time to get your popcorn, get your soda, get your stuff ready. It's time to go to Trovo.live with the link in the chat, because the grand final will be cast on Trovo exclusively. And the last match is going to happen after a short break. We'll see you back. Do not go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back to the final match in the third place battle between Team Mayhem and Team Young. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, the one and only sexy and the charming Tasty Bacon. How you doing, Tasty?
Doing great. Game 5 is upon us, Dave. I know we probably couldn't play it, but I hope everyone that was watching went to YouTube for this game. It is going to be incredible to see what the
you know, Ziggs obviously being banned out, so that was kind of good over there. So you got Twisted Fate. There's still quite a bit of options. You know, if now we're looking at a Mayhem's option, if they want to go for a wombo combo, like I guess Cannon. You know, Suki is really good with the cannon, right? Like we saw the Galio, we saw the cannon. I think they might be able to pull that out if they want to go for the full dive composition. I couldn't believe they still have Gragas as well. And if you want to go for full dive, I mean, if you go back to history, they just ran an Alistar. Imagine if they had an Alistar this game, right? But hey, credit to them, they were able to win that game. So, you know, whatever it takes to win, right? So like, but this game, they need another support that can dive with the team. Who is that gonna be? Right? It's gonna be a I don't know, a Ramus? I don't know. A Leona might be a decent choice. Aurelia being taken out. Yeah, we're definitely exhausting a lot of champion options. Right now, we'll come to Team Young. They got Renekton picking out already.
Yeah, Renekton and Jarvan picked up for the side of Yawn. Again, we talked about Renekton a little bit yesterday because we did get to see one played there. I think Renekton is one of these picks that can actually really perform well in the top lane, but Renekton could be up against an Aurelia, which would be a really exciting matchup for the Baron lane in this one. But we'll have to see where the rest of the draft is going to go, because right now it's a lot of flexible options for the side of Mayhem. I would assume Wukong is going to go jungle, and then it becomes where's Gragas going and where's Aurelia going. I mean, if you're on the side of Yawn, you can't really decisively say where either of those two picks are going to be, so you have to pick still relatively blind.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. Gragas can be support, right? Aurelia can be Baron lane, or Aurelia can go mid, and then Gragas can go Baron lane. So there's so many flex choices. Yawn's had to come out with a Lulu pick. That's gonna be interesting. That whatever they choose as the marksman is something that we have to watch out for. Let's look at Mayhem's choices, right? If you look at marksman, whatever's available on the map, they still have Corki available, and then they still have Varus. If you really want to go for the wombo combo, they could. So yeah, we predict the cannon is going to be a choice to go for, and sure enough. So with that being said, Gragas most likely will be that support then. Wait a minute!
ADC, I'm predicting this is Kennen Leona in the bottom lane, with a Fiora in the mid and Gragas in Baron lane. That's my prediction for this.
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible, but it has to be Suki Cannon mid. You know, like it really, because Cannon Suki with Cannon is just on a different level. You know, like why would you give a ADC Cannon when you have a best Cannon player in an AD play Cannon? So let's look at marksman choices on Yawn though. Like look at our composition. Who do you think is gonna be Jinx Lulu combo, the standard, the classic?
I mean, they still could grab themselves the Tristana and try and go up against Mayhem with a Tristana, so I think that could come through. Miss Fortune is still very much a competent pick for the bottom lane. You know, just using her for the ultimate is still incredibly powerful, but it does look like they are going to be locking in this Jinx with just a couple seconds left. No, they switched to Tristana at the last second, so there it is. You know, it was very likely to be one of those two. And it is the Tristana that does get grabbed here. I mean, they got destroyed by the Tristana earlier, so just going to be trying to turn that one around on their opponents. And wow, what a couple of team comps we have. I mean, we knew we were going to get some crazy comps once we got into games 4 and 5s, but this is definitely going to be a really interesting one to keep our eyes on, especially this Mayhem lineup having, you know, again, where is this Kennen going to end up? Where is the Gragas and Aurelia going to end up? Is flexibility still, even with the composition locked in, there's flexibility on who is going to go where.
Absolutely, right? Like, Tristana pick you mentioned is a really good pick because they just got destroyed by the Tristana from Team Mayhem right there. But do they have the? I mean, is Viki a good Tristana player? That's also something you have to consider. For all the viewers who are watching the stream right now, if you're wondering like why are they picking like this, it's because we're using the all-around ban pick format. All the picks you see on the screen are the picks that all the teams used in the previous matches. So they're no longer allowed in this ban pick format to repeat the same champion they picked in the same best out of 5 series. So every single champion can only be picked one time for that team, and that's why the system track it. That's why in Game 5 we see some very unorthodox champion choices, right? Like where if you look at entire team Mayhem, we're looking at 5 champions that doesn't even have a clear ADC. Like who's gonna be ADC? Aurelia ADC, Cannon ADC, it's all possible. So this is why I think all-around ban pick is such a just very interesting format. I think a lot more tournaments should adopt this format. But it's just really fun to watch overall. So right now I don't know who's gonna win, right? Tristana, I like Jinx with Lulu better, but at the same time, yes, you have a Cannon, you have a lot of dive. Is Jinx the best choice, right? So it makes sense to get the Tristana.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is when the Tristana popped off earlier, it was in a protect the Tristana composition. Yeah. There's not as much of an option to run that style of composition from Yuan with the team that they drafted, but we're getting into game here now. Let's see. It is going to be Kennen on Suki, and Soju Rain is playing the Aurelia in the bottom lane. This is going to be a really interesting one to keep our eyes on for sure. 2 melee champions in the bot lane against Lulu Tristana. They should get punished heavily.
They're gonna get poked. You know, they're gonna get just straight up poked in lane. Like, I don't see a way. Tristana and Lulu gonna have a free lane. You know, I'm gonna predict it this way. If they lose this lane, bottom lane, I mean, Candy Crush is waving their hand. Like, literally, I mean, I don't know how to sugarcoat it, right? Like, there's no way you lose this lane against 2 melee champions. Like, how do you do that? How do they even get close to you? You know, like, if they get close, you should out-kite them, out-poke them in every single way. But at the same time, if this 2 champion can get a free lane all the way to level 5, it's gonna be a really scary diving situation.
Yeah, obviously Aurelia does have the ability to farm decently against ranged champions just because of the assassination ability that she has. But it's still, like, this is a tall ask to go up against a Lulu Tristana lane. There's so much harass and just that massive range advantage. You know, Tristana normally is actually at a range disadvantage, but now there's going to be going on in. Sojourn taking a lot of damage, but with the Wukong help, they're still going to come out on the bottom side of this trade. So the early kind of showing of what this lane might be looking like.
I mean, this is exactly it. Oh, Wukong is sitting bottom right now. He doesn't care. He's not moving.
Yeah, he knows that this lane is going to need the help, but now Jarvan is coming to join the fight. He's going to force the flash out of Kodo, a very nicely timed flash to get himself out to safety. And now Vicky and Stovey can continue to just keep this pressure on here in the bottom side of the map.
You know, I think it might be a mistake from Zenith's rank 1's part. Oh, bottom side though, before that.
Oh, big stun though is going to connect. That's going to be a lot of damage, but Soju Rain is so low. Perry gets the first kill with the explosion from the shield there. And that's going to be first blood going to the double melee.
Oh my goodness, what is happening right here? Like literally, oh, they're dead. I mean, this is non-stop action. I was just about to point out that Zenith's rank 1 might be that might be a mistake from his side. He could have. Soldier Rain was out of the position just now, right? Like when Zenith first came to the bottom side, but instead he chose to go on Monkey, who is already far away, like really close to the tower. With his team sitting far in the back, if he decided to go for Soldier Rain, which I think might be a more important target because he's the ADC role in this game, so you could have killed that Aurelia pretty easily, you know? Like, considering Soldier Rain didn't have Flicker over there, didn't have Flash, he used everything, he used Exhaust. Why did Zenith end up going to a Monkey instead of going for Aurelia, who was a much easier target at the time?
It could have just been the fact that if there was a lack of communication on Aurelia having used the flash already, Wukong was definitely the lower health target, and if Wukong hadn't gotten the flash out at the exact right time, it would have been an easy kill there. So I'm not going to harp on that play too much, but the fact that they were then able to get the kill on the side of Mayhem with this double melee. I mean, to be fair, if Aurelia lands that stun on somebody, they're just locked down for so long. Between Aurelia's stun and then Leona's lockdown, you just don't get to play the game. So there is that potential, but this is absolutely a lane that should still go the way of Vicky and Stovey.
Yeah. I mean, granted that, yeah, we are saying that they are having a lot of advantage. They should have a lot of advantage in lane. But at the same time, Monkey literally camped bottom, right? Like, Wukong never left. He stayed bottom this whole game, early game, right? Just sit over there to make sure they give the bottom lane an easier time. And then it worked out for them. And they got the first blood, and then now they're getting ready for the first dragon that's coming out. It's gonna be a mountain dragon. Let's see, everybody's level 5 right now. We can potentially, and everyone has their ultimate, everyone has the summoners already. So we're potentially gonna see a huge team fight. The true power of not gonna get an ADC and just go on full fireman dive strategy.
Yeah, well, right now it is going to be Mayhem that starts up the dragon, but here comes everyone from Yawn trying to collapse onto it from 2 different directions. They pinch the members of Mayhem out of the pit and are now turning themselves on the dragon. But here comes Suki. We've seen this play so many times. He gets the stuns, he has the damage, but Shikana jumps out to safety, and instead it is Yawn that is picking up these kills. They find 3. Now Twisted Fate's going to teleport in, gets a stun so that they can find number 4. 4 kills to Yawn as they just collapse onto that exceptionally well.
Miscommunication from Mayhem. Mayhem just went Mayhem mode, right? Like, they just went all chaotic. You know, the cannon went in, and then people's follow-up wasn't in time. Leona's ultimate completely went wide. They only got 1 shot. I was seeing this kind of comp being picked out in this tournament 1 time. And when you have a comp that doesn't allow any mistake, you cannot make a mistake, right? Like, you have 1 chance to die. If you don't kill 2 to 3 members and then try to walk away, you're dead, right? Like, you're dead. You're looking at a Tristana who can jump away, Lulu can all his teammate, whoever's in Ginger. So, and Twisted Fate, who's not gonna be staying in front, who's gonna always try to kite all around the entire game. So, the entire Mayhem, they drafted a lot of interesting champions in this game. Kind of made us wonder, and is now punishing them. They're getting heavily punished if they don't coordinate well, if they don't go in at the same time, if they don't communicate well. It's going to be a huge problem. But at the same time, they're not all of it. It's all bumble combo.
Yeah, Soju, Rain, and Perry also stayed down in the bottom lane while the Yawn dragon lane rotated up to the top side of the map for this Rift Herald. And Soju and Perry just used absolutely everything they had onto Amazing on this Renekton and weren't able to secure the kill. So they are going to push him off this turret and try and race down this first tower, but Rift Herald is going to get secured without any contest for the side of Yawn. So now it's just a matter of will they be able to get the turret. They do get that first turret in the bot lane, so that is good for the side of Mayhem, but Kennen gets dropped in the mid lane, and now Rift Herald is going to be dropped here, so they're going to answer turrets here very quickly.
Yeah, and mid-tier 1 tower is gone. Just like that. In fact, the wasted Rift Herald. I gotta point out about team wasting Rift Herald like this. Like, when you have 4 people, Rift Herald really not an item you can just waste like that, right? Because you can use that for so much more. Like, for example, right now, topside, or waiting for the next dragon to give you a little bit more map pressure, the standard Rift Herald uses, right? Like, right, if you know you have 4 people are gonna go down mid, so why don't you just hit the tower first and we'll see how it goes, right? If you really want to take the tier 1 tower down, if the tower sits at 1000 HP, you can then use the Rift Herald. It's gonna guarantee kill, right? If you use the Rift Herald under tower, you're gonna get that tower 100%. Doesn't matter how many members there to stop it. So now this is completely wasted the Rift Herald. So definitely a lot of mistake from Yawn's side also, which Mayhem need to capitalize. They need to look for those opportunities and look for the cannon Wukong engage. And I gotta say, they should have Wukong going first, because Wukong does have the invisibility and the surprise element, where cannons engage are more linear, more straightforward, you know. And then you saw that's what happened with cannon engages now. There's a huge disconnect, and then that's how they lost the team fight.
Yep, and Yawn taking advantage of that, sort of disconnect, get that team fight win. They do get the Rift Herald. They lose out on the first turret bonus, but they picked up 2 turrets of their own. Yes, the Rift Herald was wasted in mid, and I completely agree with you on that. If you're, especially when you're 4 people with a Tristana, who's one of the best turret takers in the game outside of Ziggs, I feel like you have to just kind of hold that objective and use it at a later time to get more value from it. You know, like you said, either getting that top turret later on or using it when the dragon's about to spawn, just something to get some value off of that pick, because ultimately the Rift Herald was traded for nothing. They got nothing off the Rift Herald and gave up a turret for it. So not the best use of that objective, but they still have the advantage right now. They are up 4,000 gold. They have 3-kill lead. They have the first dragon in their pocket, and now the second dragon is spawning in just under 20 seconds.
And Tristana is only getting scarier and scarier, right? Look at Tristana farm, 6,700 gold. Even Aurelia's on the same farm, but if they're on the same farm in a team fight like scenario, the ADC is going to be having a better advantage, in my opinion, right? Because you're going to have an ADC who can hide around, do more damage, and on top of it, you can see 9s on the Twisted Fate damage is coming online also. Teleport coming down.
And teleport from Renekton looking to get in onto the back line, but so is Wukong. There's going to be the big cannon ultimate locking up some people, but he gets taken down before it can really have that massive impact. And Perry is going to be falling as well. 3 kills already secured for the side of Yawn, and they are just very quickly starting to take over this game.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I can comfortably say this is game over. I can't find a way out for Mayhem at this point. They dropped himself into a dead corner, into a dead end, right? Like, what do you do about this situation? You have a competition that doesn't allow mistakes. You have a competition that doesn't allow like losing team fights like this, you know. And they are losing team fights. They can't even kill a single member. So when that happens, and which is outskilling, the entire team of Yawn is getting 9,000 gold ahead, 8,000 to 9,000 gold ahead at this point. They can easily out-kite you, and on top of that, they are throwing so much more poke. Right, you're looking at a Twisted Fate that is skilling comfortably with 2 full items, a Death Cab, Rod of Ages. She's gonna start one-shotting 60-70% of your HP with 1-2 skill combo. Like, you're just gonna get worse and worse, sliding further down from this point.
Yeah, this is gonna get a lot harder before it gets any easier for the side of Mayhem. Like you said, the gold deficit alone now up to 8,000 gold. This is looking much more like the early games, but that's going to be a nice catch onto Lulu. You kind of get caught face checking, but now can they find anything extra? Here comes J4 looking to turn this back around with the Twisted Fate. They're able to find another kill, and all of a sudden, after getting a clean pick, it is members of Mayhem running for the hills and falling. 4 of them going down. I mean, they got the initial pick and then lost 4 members.
on top of it, they only killed a Lulu, so it's not looking good. Like I said, if you can't kill the entire team at one time with a comp like this, you're looking to lose this game. This is your game to lose, right? There's no choice. You're gonna get out-kited, and once you gain a little bit distance, you no longer have to engage the source of engage to go back in. You are out of this game. You know, you look at the entire team, your opponent right here, they have the tools to continue to dish out damage, whereas for Team Mayhem, they're done, right? They use one set of skills and they can't do it. No matter that set of skills used on one target, used on multiple targets, doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. They only have one set of skills and they have to wait for cooldowns. During that time, they just have to get hit, all attacked, using skilled on, and just hit for free. So I gotta say, that's a beautiful cannon skin. Still, like this, I mean, I don't know. I don't see a way out for Mayhem. We might potentially see a really, really fast game, 15-minute game, potentially with this Baron buff push.
Yeah, I mean, this Baron buff, they haven't really done much with it just yet, but now with everyone, everyone went back to base. They were able to shop, get some extra items, and now this is where that push is going to come to fruition. Renekton is up on the top side, split pushing. They're just tearing down these turrets so quickly. No one from the side of Mayhem has even gotten in there to try and stop these pushes. And there's, well, bottom turret gone. Renekton is going to be working on this top turret with a couple of minions with him. And the rest of the team is going to grab this wave mid and start pushing that one in as well. And at some point, Mayhem has to try and make an answer. There we go. It's going to be Sorrento going in. They get some good knockups. There's the Cannon ultimate is going to get some good lockdown as well. They find the kill on to Vicky. The Tristana being down could be the opportunity that they need. Zenith just barely gets out alive, but here comes Renekton. He's on a rampage, finding a kill for himself. J4 somehow still alive, gets over the wall as he gets stunned, and jumps back in now that the rest of the team is here, and they turn this around. My goodness, Yawn, where was this Yawn in the previous games of this series? Because they are dominating once again.
Oh my god, now Cannon's just gonna delay the inevitable. This is game over. My prediction is OP. One Baron fight, we're looking at the 3rd and 4th place, ladies and gentlemen. Team Yawn will be the number 3 in North America for the Mobile Mayhem Wild Rift Tournament Season 1. And we're gonna have Mayhem, Team Mayhem, securing the number 4th place. Congratulations for both.
Yeah, what an incredible game from Yawn. And I mean, we saw them dominate early, and then they just faltered. Mayhem was able to pick up a couple games. A couple games were super close, but in these super lopsided games, Yawn is the one. It's just a matter of consistency for them. When they're on, they are absolutely a terrifying team to go up against.
Yeah.
But they just are not on every single game, and that was exactly the story of this series. They faltered a bit, they struggled sometimes, but then the games that they won were decisive.
Yeah, absolutely. Decisive since the beginning. Yawn lost 2 games in a row to Mayhem, and it's like, nah, enough is enough, right? So actually come back from a 1-2 deficit. Big shout out to Yawn for making that happen. But ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the first section of today's broadcast. If you're watching the stream right now, the next game will be the grand final of the Mobile Mayhem Wild Rift Tournament Season 1, featuring Team GOONS and Team Tribe. The game that you're here for. Get your popcorn, get your soda, share the stream with your grandparents, get your dog, come over here to watch the stream with you. Because it's time. It's time for the game of the day. Who's ready to recognize together for the next champion of North America? Before that, we're going to take a short break. Remember, the grand final will be streamed exclusively on Trovo. What you waiting for? Use the link in the chat to head to trovo.live. Right now, we'll be back after a short break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets alike, welcome to the Mobile Mayhem North America Wild Rift Tournament Grand Finals, featuring Team Goons and Team Tribe. This is it. This is the match you've been waiting for. Finally, the wait is over. The first game is happening. But first, before we get started to the game, make sure to use the link in the chat to head to trovo.live, because after this game, all streams on Twitch, on YouTube will be turned off, and the stream will be carried to Trovo exclusively. So if you like to watch the stream, make sure to go to trovo.live to watch, to speculate this grand final, the spectacles together, to find out who the next king of NA is in Mobile Mayhem Wild Rift North America Tournament Season 1. With that, the first game ban pick is underway. How are you doing, Tasty Bacon?
I cannot wait for this finals to get underway. We've seen these teams go toe-to-toe previously in Mobile Mayhem, and it was Goons that decimated Tribe. It was not close, it was not competitive, but Tribe, you know for a fact they are going to be hunting for revenge, and in other tournaments, Tribe has managed to take down Goons, including a match that they played just the other day. Yep. So this is the recent history between these two teams has a little bit of back and forth in it, and I can't wait to get these games underway. We're looking at our first draft. Olaf banned away by Goons, Ziggs banned by Tribe, and Brom being left as the first pick, to the surprise of pretty much nobody.
Yeah, you know, I always not like the Brom first pick, but Brom is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, level 1 champion in the entire game, heavily prioritized in the competitive scene. There's a reason for it. Again, I just like to see a team that pick out Brom and invade level 1. Please make it happen. I've literally never seen that happen before. But now we see more Brom and Israel picked together. So with Ziggs being banned away, we're potentially going to see the standard Brom, Israel, and potentially an Orianna mid lane, just to go for the lot of poking, a lot of just kind of making you annoying you potential. So that's my prediction on Team Goons pick. Meanwhile, for Tribe, really powerful pick in the first round right off the bat. We do have Lee Sin and Gragas being taken out.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of going the way we sort of expect for game number 1. You want to come out with a strong comp. You want to come out swinging and get that early momentum. So we expect to see teams picking some of these comfort picks, some of the champions that they're most familiar with here in to start off the series. Obviously, you know, there is a little bit of a thought in, do you keep some of the power picks open for later in the series? But my philosophy is always you want to start off strong. You want to get that first win under your belt, because you don't know if you're going to get those later games in the series if you decide to wait on your strongest picks. True.
I mean, playing card game is always good and all, but it's really the time when you know enemies taking out the strongest champion that they have in their arsenal right away, and then you really want to just, okay, you're like, this is kind of like a risky game because they're pulling out everything they got, and maybe then you can go with a little bit of you know, let me go ahead and pick some kind of worse secondary champions to kind of trade those really strong cards. That can be a strategy, but at the same time, talking about Goon and Tribe, both teams have incredible, insanely deep champion pools, so it's really hard to do that, you know. So I 100% agree with that philosophy of just trying to win the first game to get your team momentum going and get that mental confidence boost right off the bat. So look at the both sides. Varus Janna, the standard, the very classic combo for Mobile Mayhem Tournament, being taken out once again for Team Tribe. Meanwhile, Goons take a little bit of shift on you know, what they wanted to do right here. Went with a diving composition with Wukong and a Corki and a Malphite being, you know, shown right now. So very interesting comp from Team Goons in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if they do lock in these two, Malphite and the Jhin, which this is a very long range composition. They have a lot of poke with the Corki, Jhin, and you know, technically even Malphite has a little bit of poke with his first ability if he decides to go that route. but their all-in engage is still extremely strong with the Malphite, the Wukong, and the Braum to provide CC for the Corki and Jhin to dish out that damage. So I really like this comp from Goons. It's not all the top meta picks, so they are keeping a little bit saved for later games, but it is still a very cohesive and strong composition that they have drafted. On the other side for Tribe, it's not quite as cohesive, a little bit more pick oriented thus far through these first 4 picks. We'll see. It looks like Twisted Fate is if this is locked in, which it is, then yeah, they are absolutely all about the picks. They're looking to just catch people out of position, get these single isolated kills, and try and make plays based off of that. So 2 very different styles, but 2 very I guess decisive styles in their compositions. Like there's no real surprises in what these teams are going to be looking to do.
Both teams picked really, really well. I especially like the Jhin pick. If you're going to pick Jhin though, I think the first pick on the draw might not be the best choice. If you talk about one champion in the ADC category, in the marksman category, that might not work with as well with Braum, it's gonna be Jhin because he doesn't attack that fast, And when you're looking for a lane that really works with Braum, you want an attack speed ADC. That's why even Jinx, some like champion that really doesn't do that much damage early game, but attack faster would work well. Even Ashe sometimes, right? Like it's all about the attack speed. It's not about proccing the passive. Because the early game is all about the skill damage. It's all about who is able to proc what skill first. And when we have Braum, the passive damage is mainly what you rely on. That damage is insane early game. So meanwhile, you look at a Tribe though, you're absolutely right. They are mainly just picking whatever champion that works, whatever champion that they're good at. I mean, looking into the game right now, I think we're having a little bit of technical issues right here. Maybe we are starting a game with teams that's not so ready. So excuse us for the technical challenges right here. But ladies and gentlemen, we shall wait for a little bit for the game to restart. Because right now it is a 4v5, so pretty interesting starting off.
Yeah, this means we're just going to be waiting for them to go ahead and just burn through turrets as quickly as they can, or we're just going to be waiting for the 5 minutes for Surrender to come out to remake, because there is not an ability to just quickly remake a game. Unfortunate situation, of course, but it is obviously just a slight technical issue there, and we'll get that sorted out as quickly as we can. But like I said, there is a limit to how quickly we can actually get that taken care of.
I mean, Dev, I'm gonna call to Riot developers again, right? What we're doing here, like, really, right? I thought we'd talk about this. We're gonna have a different type of game now, right? I thought that's what it is. Like literally this type of stuff, like make life quality improvement, kind of improvement, really need to happen a lot faster. To be honest, it can't come faster. We need to make this stuff happen where people don't sit in a custom game for 5 minutes, because it's a custom game, right? It doesn't make any logical sense for not allowing people to remake anytime they want, because it's a custom game, right? It's not like a ranked game or anything. You can't concede it too early. So wow. Still though, I can see that at this point it's pretty even, 2-2 on both sides, and then Tribe definitely having the upper edge. They're already pushing that tier mid 1 tower. And then I think it's taking a toll on Goon's side. You can see that the dogs are sitting in homes, just not doing anything. They kind of give up mentally. So yeah, I definitely think Tribe is having an upper edge in the first game.
I'm not gonna bother calling this one just because we've done it once before for Mayhem. It's fun to pretend to call these games, but obviously it is just the players waiting for the 5-minute mark. And we're just going to be looking for that, waiting for the opportunity as Hitman glides around, spamming the recall, freaking out the animations on the Malphite. Always fun to...
what's interesting? You kind of turn from pink to purple, like back and... Oh, not pink, red to purple. Is that blue? Blue purplish. Like bluish purple. Purplish blue. You kind of turn from that 2 colors, and like that color and red back and forth, right? When he spam the movement thing. I thought that was kind of awkward. Interesting, like turning to a chameleon. Is that a right word? Right? Like changing colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, just back and forth. So Meanwhile, we're gonna do a big shout out to Trovo and Mobile Mayhem for sponsoring this tournament, for making this tournament happen. If you're watching the stream right now, the reason why the grand final is streamed exclusively on Trovo is because Trovo and Mobile Mayhem are the two sponsors who are making this tournament possible. If you're watching the stream right now, we really gotta respect the what we call bread and butter, the people who are making this tournament happen. So if you're watching the stream, definitely give the platform a try, you know, a look and see how you like it. Big shout out to them for making this happen once again, allowing us to have this incredible competition in North America. Well, again, this is the grand finals for the Mobile Mayhem Season 1 tournament. We're now in the game 1, but this game is going to be reset at 5 minutes. So we're waiting for a minute and a half because it's 4v5 right now. You can see there's a member missing from Tribe side, which is interesting. I didn't even know how this kind of game can be allowed to happen. When there's 4 people, you shouldn't allow, the game shouldn't, I think the server shouldn't allow the game to start, to be honest.
I mean, there are actually like some custom game modes that people have come up with to do that use less than 5 players on a team. So it's there is good reason to have it be able to start with less than 5, but the real killer is not being able to immediately forfeit in a custom lobby. That's the real shame here. But yeah, we'll just be again just under a minute left until one of these teams can force a surrender vote and we can get a remake going, and we'll be able to get our first game actually underway, because this is the matchup. This is the finals, the grand finals of Mobile Mayhem NA Season 1. And these two teams, you got to figure, are itching to get at it. They've been waiting. They waited through a best of 5. So what's 5 more minutes for them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just quickly come back to the commentary desk right here. As this game is definitely not fun to watch any longer. You know what's interesting? The spectator can leave the spectator seat earlier, you know, but the players cannot. So, like, they have to wait for 5 minutes. But we are here talking about the North American competitive scene. So far, from all the tournament that you watched, Tasty Bacon, who is your favorite team in this entire tournament?
I am a little bit biased. I do really like Tribe, but
yeah.
But I think in terms of from this tournament specifically, GOONS has absolutely looked the strongest. Like, there is no question about it. You know, when GOONS and Tribe met earlier in Mobile Mayhem, GOONS wiped the floor with Tribe. There's no one can look at the matches that we've had in Mobile Mayhem and say that GOONS does not look like the strongest team. But when you look outside of Mobile Mayhem, you look at the bigger picture, at other tournaments that have been going on, I still think Tribe is, you know, definitely on par with GOONS. I don't think we're going to be seeing that complete lopsided affair that we saw from the previous time that we saw these two teams go head to head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tribe, both teams, I like Tribe and GOONS, right? I think the two teams are my personal favorite coming into North America Wild Rift competitive scene, and they probably have the best chance to represent North America in the Worlds that was announced earlier for Wild Rift. Can't wait for that, to be honest. Like, is Worlds gonna be, you know, committed at the same time as the PC Worlds? I did not know, actually. I mean, that would be kind of exciting, though, right? Like,
yeah, we don't really have any information about Worlds. We don't even know how qualifying for Worlds is going to work. We just know that Worlds is going to happen, and that is exciting enough in it. That's exciting on its own, but I can't wait to see kind of, you know, what the qualification process is going to be like, and when Worlds is going to be. Like you said, is it going to be around the same time as PC Worlds, or is it going to be completely separate? I'm just so excited to see a world champion. International events are always the most exciting thing in any, doesn't matter if it's esports, doesn't matter if it's traditional sports. Once you get to the international events, that's where the most excitement happens.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, here's just a refresher on what has been picked on both sides. You can see on the screen right now, the left side is Tribe and the right side is GOONS. We're talking about the first game being picked. And now, finally, we got a first game underway right here. Let's quickly jump to the game screen to see exactly who is playing who in the first game of the grand finals of Mobile Mayhem Wild Rift North America Showdown Season 1. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, the one and only Tasty Bacon.
And we do have teams getting out onto the Rift. Game 1 is officially underway, Dave, as we have a big 5-man stack for Tribe looking to catch someone, and they're going to find the Corky. Oh, man, the cheese works. as they just find that quick early kill.
Oh my god. This must be some long observation. I think Tribe probably have someone like just watching Hoon stream over and over again, like, and he said, okay, this guy is gonna come to this bush at this second into the game. Let's go ahead and find him over here and just get this over with. Look at what it's, that's just insane. You know, Fireman walking into the bush that Hoon's gonna walk into. That gotta be some early prediction. You gotta kind of analyze the player behavior before the game started to know that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the work of your coaching staff for Tribe, spotting out tendencies of your opponents and allowing them to get that free first blood. And the kill did go to Twisted Fate as well. So starting is going to be a little bit better off here at the beginning of this game. Not to mention 4 people getting an assist. It put them at almost a 500 gold advantage before any minions were even in the lane.
Yeah, and now with that advantage, with that lane pressure, we'll see a little bit of invade coming in from starting, and Tigers together. The yellow card comes in. Charm.
Gonna find that stun. Starting is in trouble on the backside, though. They do get the kill on to Hoon, but starting falls as well. And now T-Tigers is in a rough spot. He's gonna get rooted and stunned, but somehow stays alive and gets over the wall. And now this is gonna be Old School and Max Green looking to help keep him alive. I don't know how T-Tigers survived that.
That was pretty good. I think with just really patience pays off, you know, to be honest. T-Tigers waited for a long time before he actually used his skill to get away. He knows if you try to get away a little bit early, he'll be stunned up in place no matter. So really like that micro maneuver over there. A very detailed play from Tigers. And that early game rotation, 1v1 trade, but Tiger does get a kill, and which gonna result in Monkey turning, Lee Sin turning level 5. Ahead of Monkey. In fact, look at Wukong. He's only level 4, and he still needs at least 2 more cams, the Scrump and then the Wolf cam, to get that level 5. So Lee Sin's really far ahead and is looking to start something on the map right away.
Yeah, I mean, nice early lead for Tribe. Now the gold has expanded up to about 1,000 gold in their favor. And both of these teams are teams that play around that early lead. They both love to get an early lead and then stifle their opponents of being able to farm and get any gold for themselves from that point on. So we'll have to keep our eyes on, you know, the rotations that start to be made by Tribe. Now that level 5 is available on most of the champions across the board, you know, Twisted Fate especially, keeping in our eyes on when starting uses that ultimate to try and make a play across the map. You know, Dragon's going to be spawning in a little under a minute as well, so there is definitely going to be some explosiveness here pretty soon.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is a lucky sweeper, actually. I mean, Wukong was able to sweep that ward reverse. Like, how often does jungler do that? Again, that might just be like a... You understand how your opponent usually gonna ward, and you try to sweep out your jungle, because you know how Tribe ward. The GOONS and Tribe ward similar way. They would work aggressively into the enemy jungle, right? So I like that, the way how he sweep that ward out and then really find out. Because if he try to touch the ward like a regular player would do, he would not detect that ward, and then they probably would never know that Tribe would have vision on them the whole time. You know what I mean? So really good sweep over there, and able to find that ward out. So the first dragon is coming out though, and both sides are making their way towards it.
Yep, that's going to be the vision used by Max Green to spot out this ward here in the river and confirm that there is no other vision on the dragon just yet. Now everyone is going to be posturing up here, Old School, looking to get some extra poke damage before any fights happen, and that's going to be key for Tribe as these fights start to kick off, is getting a little bit of poke before the fight is actually engaged. Hoon has already died a couple of times, so we need to be careful. Now they're going to be looking for this position in the river. Everyone is just posturing up, looking for the right time to try and engage.
Yeah, and I really like the warding from Team Tribe this game. The ward is spread out across the left entrance for Team GOONS right there, and the right entrance is also covered. Ooh, look at the damage.
Oh, there we go with a package used by Hoon, but it's just going to be to cut off the team for a little bit. Now they can look to re-engage. Dragon still wasn't even started, so package now gone, pretty much not getting any value out of it other than a little bit of positioning edge.
Yeah, and Tribe, again, they're clearing the mid wave. Starting has the lane pressure, lane cryo against Hoon. At the same time, Hoon already wasted the package, right? They were trying to catch someone off. They know old school is really, really low on that Varus, so that could have been an opportunity for them. But then maybe GOONS are rushing it just a little bit, and now giving Tribe this advantage, territorial advantage over this dragon. And again, on the left side, there's still Ward.
T-Tigers goes in, looks for the big kick, and now their fight is on. Starting is in the back lines as well with T-Tigers and Chuck. They're looking for Goom. They get the kill onto the Jhin. And there's going to be a Guardian Angel pop, but it doesn't really matter because the kills are rolling in now. 2 members of GOONS are on the back lines, though, is Charm and Hoon, and that's going to be Hoon getting collapsed on 4-on-1. Meanwhile, Max Green trying to chase down Charm just to make sure he can't make any plays on this Dragon. T-Tigers is extremely low, needs to be careful. He's going to get the shield from Max Green to help him stay alive as they start up this Dragon.
Yeah. And even though Malphite is making his way here, but they have no vision. I mean, right now the vision is too late, right? And then these are going to easily dash away, so... Ooh, the snipe!
Oh, flash was used too. That's a mistake from T-Tigers. Uses the flash, but it's flashed in a straight line into the ultimate charge and gets taken down. You hate to see it. Now Chuck just kind of walking into Hitman, but of course he's a Gragas. He's going to be tanky enough to not really care too much about it. But old school, he needs to be careful with his pathing. Coming through this bottom side, they're trying to protect this turret, but the turret is going to go down. First turret destroyed by the side of GOONS, so they do at least get something off the back of that Dragon.
This is why this is a top tier competition in North America, right? Both teams know how to capitalize on tiny mistakes that opponent make. At the same time, the window is so small. Like you saw the Malphite came from mid and went straight to bottom instead of returning to the mid lane because they know they're gonna swap lanes. But everybody actually came bottom. They know that Tribe is low after that, and they continue to do the Dragon. That means the bottom side is open. So they got the first tower, threw themselves back in the game. It's not too much gold deficit, and now the Rift Tower is on the map.
And then there goes Wukong jumping in, gets a couple of knockups. Malphite as well onto old school. They're focusing him down. He can't get out of the pit, and he is going to fall. But can Tribe answer? They find a couple of kills for themselves as well, and now the damage is being dealt. Braum is the next target. He will fall. Hitman trying to take out Starting, but Twisted Fate just has too much maneuverability to take himself alive. And now Gume wants to get away from Chuck. Chuck looking to chase him down. Not sure if he has the movement speed to do so. And it will be, when the dust settles, a 4-for-4 with just the Gragas and the Jhin getting out alive.
I wish they gave me notification on who has a Rift Herald. Like, really. You know? Like, is there a way to check, like, who has the Rift Herald? Because that would be... Maybe...
Yeah, Braum has it. On the scoreboard, you see their trinkets on the far side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful. Yeah, again, 44. Completely even trade so far on both sides. I gotta give credits to Gume on a Jhin though. The position, the damage he's able to dish out. I think you really stretch the positioning. Like, how much can you go in order to do damage, you know? Literally, he was 1 versus 3 at a position where most people would back away at a time, you know, knowing that you're in a huge number disadvantage with Chuck sitting on your face. And he is just like, nah, I understand they use all their skills, I understand that their 2 people are low, and I can't do enough. With skill 1, with the passive bullet, so Gume definitely popped off over there and just dished out incredible amount of damage. 2-1, 2. We're going to see at the end of the game right here. I think he's probably one of the highest damage dealt in the entire game.
Yeah, well, right now there's another engage happening onto the Gragas, but he gets the knockback, and the damage from Tribe is just so much. They've already found themselves a kill. They're looking to take down Hitman as well. He gets out for now, but Starting is there waiting with the extra damage from Twisted Fate. And now Braum blocking a lot of this damage. There's the ultimate from Jhin. Gonna try and get some kills. T-Tiger should be able to body block a lot of this, and then Tribe gets out of harm's way. They find 2 kills there and don't lose anyone in return.
Wow. Let's take a look at the team fight once again. Monkey went in a little bit too hasty. I think he got caught way too quick. If Monkey stayed alive and comboed with Malphite together, that could have been a different kind of outcome, right, for that team fight, how the game would have gone. And now the next Dragon's coming up, the Baron's coming up in 5 seconds. But top side up, this might be a little bit risky for them.
And very much could be risky as they're going to be taking a lot of damage. Starting wants to get this kill, but it's going to be actually Gragas Chuck taking that one down. As Starting and Chuck just working so well together. I mean, Starting on the Swiss Fate has 9,000 gold already. No one on the side of Goons is even close to that. And Tribe is also taking down targets in the mid lane with that 2 kills as Dragon spawns. That's going to be a free objective for Tribe.
I like it. I like it. Tribe comes in prepared. You know, they're ready to show you, hey, the previous games we're just playing. You know, now stuff are just get starting. Mid lane.
Oh, Hitman tries to use the ultimate to escape, and when you're ulting defensively as Malphite, that is never a fun situation. Mukbang going in to try and get some knockup, but it's just going to be Tribe finding more and more damage. Now Charm going back in again, but he just gets taken down. Old School on the backside of this fight is taking down Braum. Max Green actually gets the kill as there goes Blue Tigers. Oh my goodness, the snipe! The snipe from Old School absolutely picking off Jin, and Tribe are just in complete control of this game.
We're coming to close to 10,000 gold advantage to the favor of Tribe at this point. This game they just play a lot more coordinated. We see a lot of disconnect, which is uncharacteristic from Goon's side. You see people going in one after another. You know, like getting caught one after another. Hitman getting caught, have to use the ultimate to get away, and it's just pretty chaotic from Goon's side. Very, very uncharacteristic often. Again, this is only game 1 though, and I think none of them are pulling out the strongest champion they're playing. We also noticed a little bit of lack of synergy from their composition. So they want to go for the full-on team fight, but it seems like they haven't got a chance to really do that, right? Malphite haven't really synergized with Wukong that much. And then, with that being said, topside though.
Now they're looking to chase down Chuck, but this is 4 people dedicated to killing a Gragas, and he is surviving for so long that the rest of the team is here. Tribe is looking to answer, and Chuck still has not dropped. Finally, he goes down, but it's only after Charm has been taken out as well, and Tribe just completely collapsing onto this. Hoon flashing away, trying to get out, but he's going to get caught by the gold card and taken down, and now Baron is on the table.
Yeah, you've got, Jinx, completely wasted. I mean, you gotta feel a sense of desperation when the 4-men dive onto your Gragas, and the Gragas sitting on the tower, acting like gargoyles. Again, I gotta say, Goon's making the same mistake I pointed out in the first dive they did, which is, I think they're rushing this game. You know, they're playing this game impatiently, which is very, very odd of them. You know, like they shouldn't have been playing this game like this. They usually take game very methodically, step by step. We talked about in the previous game the strengths of from Team Goons is when they play games and when they're in an advantage, they still play the game like they're even against their opponents. You know, so that just shows how patient they are. But now this game, we see people going in one by one. We see people diving Gragas. You well known that Gragas is full tank with gargoyles already under a tower. That's just a little bit too confident, you know, on like how fast you can kill a Gragas.
Yeah, Braum eating a good chunk of damage there, you know, just denying a lot of it. But the siege is here from Tribe. Now Braum is extremely low when he doesn't have that shield up. The inner turret is gone. The base is broken open, and Tribe is now pushing in top lane as well with some Baron minion, and a huge Gragas ultimate is going to kick things off as they now go in. They can't find any kills from the side of Goons, and Tribe is just cleaning house. They've got themselves 2 kills, make it not quite a third, but they have minions in the base. They're taking down the Nexus, and in 14 minutes, Tribe Gaming are going to take a 1-0 lead in the grand finals.
Wow.
Victory.
Wow, what are we seeing in the game 1 between Tribe and Goons? This is a reverse performance from the group stage. Tribe really putting their stuff together, not too much goofy plays, going in all at the same time. And then I gotta say that everybody's MVP. I can't have a clear MVP this game, even though the system ended up giving it to starting because of his outstanding damage and performance. Many kills he did, 24,000 damage. You look at Old School with the ADC on Varus, able to do 20,000 damage also. So overall, everyone played it really well. I think they just played they really tied out their gameplay as we discussed that they should have been doing since the beginning, and now it's paying them many dividends. They're playing Goons like, you know, they're Goons, right? So this is definitely a game. This is Tribe that everybody know and love. So Goons definitely need to step up their game. Go into game 2 right here if they want to even up the scoreboard and kind of give themselves a little bit of confidence boost. At the same time though, Goon hasn't used many champions, like this game, and then their comp that they use definitely cannot say it's a signature comp for them. So like Goons going forward, definitely do not be afraid. If you're a Team Goons fan, they're still in this game by a long shot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this was very much a lopsided game, but that's what we see from these top teams. It doesn't matter if they're up against another top team or if they're up against, a solo queue team. The games look very similar. They get that early lead and they know how to play with a lead. And that's really what separates the best teams from the good teams, is just knowing what to do once you get that early lead and not giving your opponents a chance to get back in. It ends up looking like a one-sided stomp, even if the teams are closely matched, just because of whichever team gets that early advantage.
Yeah, it's because neither team make too many mistakes, right? So they know how to hang on to those advantages. But ladies and gentlemen, that's only game 1. Do not go anywhere. But after this short break, the whole stream will move to Trovo.live because this tournament is sponsored by Trovo and made happen by Mobile Mayhem. If you're watching the stream right now, make sure to go follow Tasty Bacon and Mobile Mayhem on Twitter so you can follow all the future events that they're hosting, they're organizing, they're part of. At the same time, the remaining of the grand finals will be streamed exclusively on Trovo starting this point on. During the break, make sure to use the link in the chat to go to Trovo.live to finish the rest of their tournament. Can Goon come back from a 1-0 deficit, or are we gonna see a 3-0 reverse clean sweep from Tribe, like what Goon did to